items that were brought up at our
just state your name.
deputation last week. My name is Jeanette G and I live in Bayswater. Okay, so this is regarding the Riverside Gardens Master Concept Plan. Will the council commit to meaningful consultation with residents of 3A to D Neville Street, residents of Leake Street between Guildford Road and the river and Bellevue Street to ensure a safe, viable and mutually acceptable plan is developed regarding the proposed use of Lot 3, 156 Leake Street, changes to car parking and changes to road use connecting Leake Street and Milne Street, and ensure they're not detrimental to residents and park users?
Thank you for your question. That item will be considered by council this evening.
Fantastic, thank you. The second question I have is, at what stage of the planning will a traffic impact survey be conducted to investigate the effect of a roundabout connecting Milne Street and Leake Street and the impact on the status of Leake Street as a safe, active street and a bike boulevard?
Thank you for your question. I'll go to the Director to respond.
Thank you.
Through the Chair, at this stage, this is a master plan, so it's a high-level plan. If in future Council decides to proceed with any part of the plan, we'll move into a detailed design phase. At that detailed design phase, there'll be certain inputs that will come into that. That will also include a traffic study as part of that.
Okay, I guess that leads into my third question. Thank you. What will the next phase of planning and consultation regarding the use of Lot 3 Leake Street be and changes to traffic flow adjacent to it? What will it look like and when will it occur?
Thank you for your question. I'll go to the Director, but before I do that, I'll just preface it by saying the item still needs to be considered by council this evening.
Yes.
But I'll go to the Director.
Through the Chair, yes, the item has to be considered by council. As mentioned, it's a high-level master plan. It has lots of components to it. It will have to be considered further by council in terms of timing and funding in future. If council decides to fund the project or if there's external funding that comes forward, then it'll have to be programmed into our Forward Capital Works program. So at this stage, we can't commit to any timeframes until further information is gathered in future.
Thanks for your answer. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Anyone else have a question?
Jamie Forsman, Bedford. Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members and officers. I'd like to ask a question regarding the alternative motion regarding 10.3.1. Just more of a clarification regarding the amendment delegation of authority to leasing agreements.
Sorry, do you mind just speaking a little bit more?
Sure.
It's hard for me. Yeah, thank you.
Would the addition of the clause enable the city to consider future proposals of a similar nature to one currently being before council for approval tonight under 10.3.1? So it's just more of a clarification.
Thank you. And that's about the Outback Paddle item. I'll go to the CEO to respond.
So through you, Madam Mayor, just to clarify the question, it's in relation to the delegation, whether that will occur if this goes through for other premises?
Yes, I think just the clarification is, I think there's an alternative motion to change the delegation of authority. And the question is, if that is approved, would that then, it's more of a clarification of that clause. Does that clause then mean that the city can then assess similar proposals and give that approval for similar proposals?
That is correct, if the sublease occurs as part of that. So the delegation will then come to the city to be able to extend that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else have a question? Please come forward.
Stephen G from Bayswater. This is regarding the Riverside Gardens Master Concept Plan. How can residents be kept informed regarding alternative uses of the land at Lot 3, 156 Leake Street and its possible sale or lease for another use?
Thank you for your question. I'll go to the Director to respond.
Through the Chair, as mentioned earlier, it's a master plan, it's a high-level plan. At this stage, if council adopts it later this year, the idea is to bring it back at a future meeting to get the master plan adopted. Basically, that's just a high-level plan. Doesn't mean council's going ahead with the works. It will be basically programmed in a forward capital works program if council wants to go ahead with it. At that stage, if council goes ahead with the project, there will be detailed design, there will be further consultation regarding the components of that plan. That includes if there's any work proposed for that particular piece of land that the city owns.
Also, can the council clarify when the zoning is, what the zoning is for Lot 3, 156 Leek Street, and the permitted use of the land, as the river end of it previously came under the Swan River Trust and was never meant to be built on?
Thank you for your question. I'll go to the director to respond. Oh, sorry, the manager.
Through the chair, that property, the top portion of the property is currently zoned medium and high density residential R40, and the bottom portion closest to the river, as you mentioned, is currently reserved parks and recreation under the Metropolitan Region Scheme.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to come forward, please?
Hi, this is Babel. Same concept plan, live in Bayswater. So,
Sorry, what was your name?
Babel. Yeah. So basically, I had a look at the master plan, and it looks like there's a lot of potential car park for the area. And I just wanted to know how many car bays is the council looking to add to that section, to the whole master plan? And at the same time, I also see where the row club is towards the end there. There's existing car bays, but I see that you guys are gonna reduce the numbers of car bays from there and then add them somewhere on the other side. So my question is, what's the reason for all these car bays? Like, what is it gonna serve? Is it gonna serve mainly for the row club, or is it gonna serve, what is it gonna serve for? What is it, these extra car bays?
Thank you for your question. I'll go to the director.
Through the chair, I mean, the parking bays, if you look at the plan, it actually states that some of those bays are additional parking options. So they're not necessarily going ahead. It's just options to look at if we want additional parking down there. The intent of the plan is also to move some of the infrastructure away from the river's edge and move it further away, obviously because of potential for erosion and things like that and flooding along the river. So it is a plan to try and move things away. Doesn't mean the works are going to happen straight away. What it is just putting a plan in place for the future that, if things get renewed down there, we know where we're going to put things away from the river. In terms of the numbers of bays, that will still be determined as part of the detailed design phase in future. At this stage, just showing options of where parking could potentially go.
Okay. I guess we can have our input once another concept comes up.
Correct.
To when or where the extra car bays can be. That's good.
Correct.
The question is, does the council have a target or number of trees and revegetation in that new plan? Do they have like a number they have to hit to meet the requirements to go ahead with the project?
Thank you for your question. I'll go to the director.
Through the chair, there's no specific target for that particular area. I mean, the city has targets in terms of canopy coverage across the city. So we're looking at opportunities across the city to plant trees. Down there, obviously, we'd plant more trees down there, but there's no specific target at this stage.
Okay, because in lot 3, we can maybe add that community garden and extra trees so that the whole community can benefit from, rather than having bitumen and more heat around the residents. And then last question. Yeah, will the council commit to further investigation for a better solution to the car parking issues in the area behind the rowing club? Because I think there's a mention that there's going to be some sort of new building behind the row club. What was that building called? The building behind the row club?
All the buildings behind it, I think, the new civic centre.
Civic Center. I think something about building Civic Center there.
Thank you for your question. I'll go to the director.
Through the chair, the plan suggests possible locations to relocate buildings. So when some of the buildings reach end of life, we're looking at potentially relocating. If we're going to replace them, we'll relocate them away from the river's edge where they're safer from flooding and erosion and other impacts from the river. It's not necessarily saying that we're going to provide extra buildings down there. It's just talking about the future potential to move some of those buildings away if they're up for renewal in future.
So that spot there behind the Row Club is a potential place for that building, or you don't know?
Through the chair, the plan suggests some locations where it could go. Obviously, in future, when there's a need to relocate or renew a building, further investigation will be carried out because you need to look at the actual site conditions to make sure that what's being built on is suitable, that it is above the flood levels and things like that. So there's a number of considerations that need to be taken into consideration during that detailed design phase. So the plan at this stage, high-level master plan, it's just suggesting that there's potential to move those buildings away from where they are now in future.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have a question? Please come forward.
Yeah, hi, my name's Neil Rolland from Bayswater. I've just got a couple of questions regarding the same issue. Firstly, there has recently been new car parking installed down there. I was just wondering what the cost of that is and why this whole master plan wasn't anticipated, or why that parking wasn't built bigger right from the start. It seems a bit of a waste of money.
Thank you for your question. I'll go to the director to respond.
Through the chair, in terms of the cost, I'll have to take that on notice. That car park was constructed a few years ago. That was a plan that the city had for a while back to get that car park built. In terms of the extra parking that's shown on the plan, it is like, again, it's a master plan. It is a plan for the future. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen straight away and the car park's going to be ripped up. It's probably more of a case of when that existing car park reaches end of life, and instead of renewing it in that location, it could potentially be relocated to another location.
Yeah, but what I mean is that car park can't be reaching end of life. It's only, like you said, a couple of years old. Surely it's expected when they built it for 20 years or something.
Do you have another question?
Yeah, I do. The other question was, there's also a roundabout anticipated there to join Milne and Leake Street. What is the purpose of that?
Thank you for your question. I'll go to the director.
Through the chair, it's something that the consultants come up with. The roundabout, the purpose would be to allow vehicles to turn around. So, for example, if they come down one particular road, if they come down Milne Street, they can go down, turn around in that roundabout and exit on Milne Street if they choose to do so. And similar going the other way, if Leake Street is connected down there, they'll have the option of heading back the same way. It also assists with parking. If you see a parking bay and they want to go back to it, they can do basically a U-turn at a roundabout rather than trying to do a three-point turn on a section of road.
Final question, sort of along the same thing. The parking at the moment, you can just walk from the parking spot straight to the park. If this all goes ahead, you'll be crossing a road to get to the park. That seems a pretty serious concern with kids, dogs. Just want to make sure that's considered.
Thank you for your question. I'll go to the director.
Through the chair, yeah, they'll be considered. Consultants worked on this and has developed the plans, but like I said, it's a high-level master plan. Further consideration can be given to all those components at detailed design stage.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have a question?
Good evening. My name's Guy, resident of Bayswater
Sorry,
also.
Thank you.
I was here last week for the deputation meeting, so some of you might recognise me. We spoke about a petition. I went around to a lot of residents, Leake Street, Neville Street and surrounding areas. Just wondering when that petition is going to be taken serious, because I submitted that last November, and to this day we've had no feedback on our concerns of the car park.
Thank you for your question. I'll go to the director to see if he can answer that.
Yeah, through the chair, we did locate that petition. That when that was submitted, that actually went to the consultant. It wasn't presented to council. the actual format of the petition wasn't actually in the petition format, and it was basically treated as a letter opposing certain components of the project. That was actually submitted to the consultant as part of the consultation process, and that was considered during that the project by the consultant.
So not receiving any feedback, which is something quite, quite an impact that's going to affect us residents. Do you not think that's a bit lacklustre, or?
Thank you for your
Because we
question.
find it quite serious, and we get no response, or it's just a waste of time going around doing something like that.
Thank you for your question. I'll go to the director.
Through the chair, the petition was actually acknowledged. So there was a letter sent acknowledging that it's been received, and it was forwarded to the consultant and included as part of the consultation process.
But no letter of response to the people that signed the petition, just the consultant got a...
So
We never received anything.
My understanding from the director's response is that an acknowledgement was sent back to the author of the petition saying, thank you for this. We will pass this on to the consultant for consideration during the designs process.
Okay, no problem. So I wasn't aware of that one. I never got that. Must have been my neighbour that received that one. I went around and did a petition, and then she wrote it up and sent it in. Sorry, I arrived a little bit late. I'm just going to check with Janet. Last night, I went around to some of the residents on League Street. At this stage, they're still unaware of all these major adjustments to the streets, safe streets, so-called. One of the neighbours in particular was liaising with a councillor, and they put some speed bumps there, which happened a couple of months ago. I do have the council's person's name in my phone. I just had a bit of a late night, late day with work. But it's here. So this was done within the last few months, and there's already issues with speed and traffic and that sort of thing. So my question is, how will this improve? If the traffic volume is going to improve, is going to increase tenfold to what it is now, and they've already submitted issues, and there's been so-called speed bumps put in.
Thank you for your question. I'll go to the director to respond.
Through the chair, again, this is a master plan. It's a high-level plan. There's no commitment to do the work at this stage. It is basically preparing a plan for the future that, if items are being renewed down there, that we've got a plan on where those items are going to be replaced to. So in terms of developing designs in future, there'll be further consideration. So volumes of traffic and things like that will be assessed, and basically the designs will be prepared based on the information that's collected at that time.
Okay, and the last question, sorry, just a very quick one. When will the residents of League Street, as I said, the impact of this volume of traffic potentially to increase, when will they be notified about these so-called potential changes? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I'll go to the director to respond.
Through the chair, there's no commitment to construct anything at this point in time. When that happens in future, and the council's committed to doing a detailed design to actually construct something in future, at that stage, there will be further contact with the residents.
So will there be a mail out for that one?
I'll
Because
go to the we won't be sure until that happens. That's something in the future. But
I
there will
only say
definitely
that
be
because League Street, a lot of League Street residents are totally unaware of this. Totally unaware.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have a question? Please come forward.
Dan West, Maylands, Mayor, councillors, city officers. Just a follow-up question in response to the, I've had a chance to review the response to my earlier question. So I just want to make sure I'm understanding it correctly here. So the response reads, the tree retention and provisions of trees policy only applies to development applications for new group dwellings, new multiple dwellings, new residential developments, and subdivision referrals and subdivision clearance applications. So I guess what I want to understand is if there's a 150-year-old tree that's 10 metres tall, 6.5 metre diameter canopy on a single residential lot that isn't on any of those stated provisions, it wouldn't have any protection?
Under this particular policy, no, they've gone through the provisions that this particular policy covers, but they've also said that the tree of the size and age described is eligible to be nominated with the landowner's approval as a significant tree under the city's significant tree register for private land policy.
Okay, thank you. Could I ask one more question?
Go ahead.
Different topic. I'm interested in the Riverside Gardens Urban Forest, and in particular the partnership with Greening Australia. I'm just interested to understand what specific outcomes have been achieved out of that partnership that have resulted in a reduced cost burden to ratepayers.
Thank you for your question. I'll go to the Director to respond.
Through the chair, as you know, the city has a partnership with Greening Australia. They were involved with project management out there. They arranged for the designs to be prepared and engaged a consultant to work with the city and the community to develop the designs. In terms of they've been sourcing funding and sponsorship for the project, they've also sourced some plants for the project. So that's been their involvement in the project, and we're also looking at continuing the partnership into the future and possibly doing some other areas with them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions? If not, I will close public question time. And we will, before I close public question time, are there any questions on items not on this evening's agenda? No, I'll close public question time. So we'll move on to item 7, which is confirmation of minutes. And councillors, we'll move to adopt the minutes for the ordinary council meeting of the 22nd of July 2025 as shown on the addendum, in the addendum on your screen. There was just an attachment labelled incorrectly, so that's been corrected. Do I have a mover and seconder? Moved Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Maleka. All those in favour? That is unanimous. Thank you. So item 8 is presentations. Councillors, does someone have a petition to table? Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Yes, I do have a petition and I will read it out loud to all of you. We, the undersigned, being the electors of the district, formally petition the City of Bayswater to address the following. To implement Phase 3B of the City of Bayswater Local Road Safety Program that was scheduled for financial year 23-24. Specifically, we seek works to commence in the Maylands Peninsula Precinct, which has been consulted on, planned, but not funded, nor put out to tender. We want this to be funded via the low-cost urban road safety program or the ordinary municipal budget. If the funding is delayed further, temporary evidence-based traffic calming measures such as speed trailers or other traffic calming measures should be implemented as a safety measure until the proper works can be implemented. There are 59 signatures.
Thank you. So you'd like to move that that's accepted?
Yes, thank you.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Latta. I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. You have to table.
I think the city already had a copy.
We table it. Thank you. Okay, there are no presentations this evening and deputations were heard at last week's agenda briefing forum. Delegates report, we have one this evening, which is item 8.4.1, Delegates report ALGA 2025. I'm happy to move this item. Councillor Osazowski, would you like to second it? I'll take that as read, councillors. Councillor Osazowski, do you wish to add anything?
It was an honour to go to represent the city in Canberra, and it was very interesting to attend the sessions, and in particular I learnt that there is a very different need in the regional councils versus our metropolitan councils. It was a very interesting conference, so thank you for giving me the opportunity to go.
Thank you. I'll put this to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. So we'll now move on to item 9, which is method of dealing with agenda business, and the Deputy Mayor will be pulling first this evening.
Thank you. I will pull items 10.5.1.7.
If you can just go a little bit slow for me.
10.5.1.7, planning policy review, tree retention and provision of trees.
Just one sec. Yep.
10.3.2, Guildford Road and King William Street intersection upgrade.
10.3.2, yep.
And so I'm just finding it. (10.5.1.3) policy review, media and communications. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Johnson.
Thank you. 10.2.3, investment report for the period ended 31st of July 2025. I think you'll do that one. I'm sorry, just running through them. 10.5.1.2, the policy review for the council vehicle fleet. 10.5.2.1, the pathway prioritisation program.
Sorry, what number was that again?
10.5.2.1. And the Active Transport Advisory Committee item.
Yep, thank you.
One of the items from the Audit and Risk Committee, so 10.3.3.6 and 10.5.3.7.
Sorry.
It's okay, it's under the Audit and Risk Management Committee. So,
Sorry. Okay, so it's 10.5.
10.5.3.6.
The sustainability review.
Yep.
Yeah.
And 10.5.3.7, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry. There's a lot of different numbers.
We'll get there.
Councillor Maleka. Councillor Sazowski.
10.1.4.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Councillor Eason.
Yep, sorry, 26. Just one, 10.3.1, please.
10.3.1. Councillor Palmer.
Thank you. Excuse me. 10.3.3 and 10.4.2. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Sutherland.
Where are we? 10.5.1.8, Honorary Freeman in the City, just to ask a couple of questions.
(10.1.3) the Economic Development Strategy.
Yep.
10.3.5, the Riverside Foreshore Concept Master Plans. And I think everything else has been pulled.
Thank you.
So, Mayor, I've left one off. Can I add one, please? Sorry. It's in the subcommittee reports for the Policy Review and Development Committee. So it's 10.5.1.8, the honorary Freeman of the
Councillor
City.
Sutherland just pulled that
Oh,
one.
my apologies. I missed the item number. So
Okay.
Also, sorry, I didn't see it, the very first one, 10.1.1, Scheme Amendment 101, short-term rental accommodation.
Okay. Anything else? No? Okay. Get started then. Okay, so Councillors, we'll now move to consideration of the reports in section 10. Can I please have a mover and seconder to bring forward items 10.3.1, 10.3.5 and 10.5.1.7, which were subject to deputations. Moved Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Latta. All those in favour? That is unanimous. So we'll start with 10.3.1, Bedford Bowling Club Outback Paddle proposal. Councillor Eveson, you've moved this. You've pulled this.
Yeah, so I've got an alternative that was in the run sheet.
Yep, so
Please.
that's what you're moving.
Yes, thank you. So
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Palmer. Councillor Eason.
Thank you. I won't read through it because it was in the run sheet that was provided. I did send it through earlier today, but this alternative motion makes two key changes from the officer's recommendation. First, it extends the Bedford Bowling Club lease by a further 6 years on the current 3 that they have. This gives both the club and Outback Paddle certainty to provide to proceed with the sublease and invest considerable money confidently into our existing community facilities. And I can say facilities, as there are, as we know, 2 proposals for paddle facilities in our city. This one in Bedford and another one at Moreland Rec Club. And let's not forget the change of use in tonight's agenda too, where there's 11 badminton and 3 pickleball courts that are looking to be done in the Bayswater industrial area. Clearly, racket sports are on the rise, which is why the second change is so important, as it updates our delegation of authority so that the CEO can align lease and sublease terms in future. That avoids mismatched timelines and gives us a practical, consistent process for similar proposals across the city, allowing the city to move forward quickly and get it done. Lastly, and probably most importantly for our clubs, this motion ensures that rent income from subleases is reinvested directly back into the same facility. That way, clubs who diversify their services and boost utilisation are rewarded. It's what we want them to be doing. And our community enjoys upgraded facilities. It's a genuine win-win. Councillors, this alternative is about providing certainty, practicality and community benefit. Let's back our clubs, reward innovation and ensure that facilities can continue to thrive. I look forward to debate and addressing any concerns that may come forward.
Thank you. Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, it's a brilliant amendment, which is very similar to the actual item, but I think the last bit with the extra absolute majority requiring for transfers of rent for sublease agreements is important. So rather than confuse everybody thinking that it's all different, basically it's the simple method of item 3 and very similar to the others. So it's all good. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone like to speak against this item? Councillor Johnson.
I just have a question on the amendment, if I could, please. So am I correct that that limb 2 of the amendment is amending our leasing agreement for all community facility rents to enable the CEO to have delegated authority for subleasing? Is that correct? Or is it just this one in particular?
I'll go to the director to respond.
Through the chair, it's looking at changing the actual delegated authority, so that is for all leases, the ability to sublease and adjust the terms of the parent lease.
Thank you. I was just trying to clarify that in my mind. I'm happy to speak on the actual item itself. It's really exciting to see what our bowling clubs are doing in innovative space, and so thank you to the club for coming and talking about what you're doing, and to the proponents. Sorry, did you need a chance to speak to it first? My apologies, I'm thinking out of order.
He has spoken to it.
Thank you, that's fine. Yeah, it's really exciting to see that our clubs are being innovative and doing great things for their communities, for our community, for the places they're on. I have no idea what Outback Paddle is, I'll be perfectly honest. I hadn't heard of it before I got this proposal, but it sounds exciting, and I look forward to seeing it prosper, coming down and having a hit or having a watch. Obviously, there's lots of hoops through, so I'm sure the city will do its best to facilitate that for the club. Pleased to see that the additional rent that they'll be charged will be put aside for the benefit of the club in the future, if that's my understanding, if that's correct about what's being proposed. And otherwise, I wish the club all the best.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak for? Deputy Mayor.
Yes, just quickly also, well done to the club for reaching this point and getting this opportunity, which will benefit the club, the community, obviously a different group and club that will provide different services, and making this facility much more sustainable. And we also will get some revenue that will go back to help us to maintain those assets. So really, it's a great outcome. So well done to everyone involved.
Thank you. Anyone, Councillor Maleka?
Yeah, just to add, look, what I really like about this amendment is streamlining the processes and reducing the red tape. So reducing the wait times with the delegated authority, I think, is a real bonus, and I think it's really attractive for us as a city. And of course, ensuring that the funds are going to be utilised from where they came from. So I really like this.
Thank you. Councillor Sutherland?
Yeah, look, I think this is a great idea. It helps keep the club going and creates a revenue stream, which is important, and gives obviously council a little bit of income as well. But what's good is that this is a much loved club. It's in an inner city area, becoming more inner city, more infill, and it's really important that these clubs diversify. And with this new sport, I'm pretty sure it's going to be popular. I'm sure I'm going to be playing either pickleball or paddleball in the future, as I'm a tennis player, and the knees start to wear out. This is going to be big time. Just on a side note, I was in Hilton Head last year in South Carolina, and it's massive down there, and I can see it coming here too because it's really good, great, and I really think it's good. Also for intergenerational communities, I know in the newer suburbs, especially the city of Joondalup and as you go further north, you've got these clubs that appeal to all generations. And this will bring in the young as well, and the young at heart. So well done, Bedford. I'm looking forward to coming and seeing it.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this item? Councillor Latta?
Yeah, I just want to say well done to the club. I think it's a lot of work for these organisations to make these agreements, and they're usually volunteers who love their club and want to make it sustainable. And I love the innovation and creativity in finding partnerships to help them do that. I also like how the city has dealt with the question of a commercial sublease by putting 25% back into those clubs. This is something that we struggle with all the time, seeing asset renewal on our forward capital works plan and having to balance so many different priorities. So it's good that these clubs can, by making these kinds of partnerships and going down this track, can benefit themselves but also the properties that they are in. So yeah, very happy with this and pleased with the amendment, which I think will streamline this process for other clubs that go down this path in the process. It's not a simple thing for an item to come to council. It involves a whole lot of extra rigmarole and time for the community. So it's good to give a simple avenue for simple cases.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this item? If not, I'll go the mover to close.
Thanks for the comments, all very supportive, which is great news. Probably just on that delegation of authority, yes, it's something I pondered for a little while. But look, probably thanks to Neil and Bedford for cutting the path. Cut the path, got a proposal on the table. The city's been working hard to try and figure out how to make it all fit. We've now got that. So now we've got a process that can help other clubs. So yeah, great job, and hopefully this one gets up. Thank you.
I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. So we move to the next item, which has been pulled, which is 10.3.5 Riverside Foreshore Concept Master Plans. Councillor Latta, you've pulled this one.
I have an alternative in the run sheet.
So everyone's been provided with that. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Johnson? Councillor Latta?
Thank you. I think it's a really exciting moment to have this foreshore master plan be developed. It's not finished yet. I recognise that. This is a point in the road, and we'll see the final in December. The two bits that I've added to this, one is to make sure that the all ability access at Hines Reserve is placed on the agenda, I suppose. It's been something that's talked about in the community and there's a lot of support for it in the community, but it hasn't been added to our forward capital works plan and it wasn't included in the high level master plan. So I just want to make sure that that doesn't get missed, and through the business planning process we can discuss where it goes and whether it's grant funded or what kind of options there are for that. And the LIM 7, really without being prescriptive, just asking the city to re-engage with affected residents regarding the car park off Leake Street, who came and spoke to us to say that they didn't feel like they had been adequately consulted, and so this is an opportunity to rectify that, I suppose, and get their feedback before the master plan comes back to us in December. I think that particularly the erosion control and these aspects of managing the riverside down there are so important, so necessary. You can see parts where the landfill has started to come out through foreshore erosion. So you can see like litter underneath the capping starting to come out on some of the beach areas. So it's critical that we engage with this problem. But I don't think that this was a simple consultation and project for the consultant or the city. There's a lot of stakeholders who want a lot of different things from this area. It's very well loved. I think the city's done a good job of trying to bring together all of the things that people want from that space, and hopefully with these extra little bits by December we'll have something really awesome. So
thank you. Councillor Johnson.
Thank you. And a note, these items come from our 10-year foreshore plan. So it's fantastic to see the Bath Street Reserve and the Tranby Reserve getting funded, and the grant funding and the commitment the city's made and the advocacy that they've done to get the funding to actually do those works is it's fantastic, and I look forward to seeing the rest of the plan roll out. But Riverside Gardens is the place where all the passion lies. Everyone loves it, and a lot of people are going to have a lot to say about the Riverside Gardens plan. You've heard that already. It's the works that are being done along the whole river are really important for future-proofing the area when there's climate change. And all of the works along the foreshore, I think, are really widely supported. It's going to be the little bits around the edges, which are going to take some navigation. You won't be able to keep everyone happy, I'm sure. Everyone's aware of the traffic chaos and parking on a Sunday morning down there. I know the place well. It's very hairy. I remember that car park being built to literally just rescue an area that was otherwise sand, full of cars getting bogged. I think the gentleman was in the gallery last week who's been rescuing cars out of it. It was a constant thing every weekend. So that car park, whether it stays or goes, has certainly served its purpose there. As much as it'd be nice for the park to all be around, grass and trees and planting and future-proofing, there actually is a lot of traffic management to be navigated. I know building the Safe Active Street on Leake Street was not easy, but has been very successful and much loved. So it's that combination of safety and traffic. At the Active Transport Committee, we talked about the intersection of Milne Street and down Riverside Gardens, because it's a messy intersection. So all of those work around traffic will need to be done, which will make things flow a little bit better. In terms of fencing, there was a lot of stuff about fencing. I think the petition that came or didn't come to us, but a lot of talk about fencing in the early days. I think there is going to be to protect the foreshore while it's being revegetated. I think that was the proposal around fencing. There's some nice examples of that in Bassendean. I think it's called not sure. Pickering Reserve, I think it is, along the river, where there's a kind of a permeable type of fencing. It looks like it's fenced, but it's not really fenced, so it keeps most people out. So there's ways of doing fencing to protect vegetation, which also allows some sort of traffic through it as well. I think some really low impact ways of doing fencing to protect plantings. Otherwise, I mean, there's so much love and passion for the area. This item also includes the playground, which has long been, long overdue. So very happy to see work on the playground progressing. And thanks to Councillor Ladder for the amendments, the Hind Street access for all abilities paddling and kayaking has been talked about for a long time, since more than 8 years ago, before I was on council. People were advocating for that, so I'm glad to see that literally on the agenda. Thank you. It's a great plan. Thanks for everyone who worked on it. Oh, one more thing. When we do the community consultation, I think it's best if the city does it, because we do it really well, I think, and know who to talk to. So I would prefer, when it comes to that the city does that work rather than consultants.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? Councillor Palmer?
Thank you. I'll just be very brief. And I will actually agree with those last words from Councillor Georgia Johnson with regard to the city thinking twice and about paying consultants if we can do it ourselves. We know the city, we know the land. All our officers know the place so well. So I think there could be good thought there. I also think that the amendments are excellent, and the all-ability access has definitely been on the cards during the days of Deputy Mayor Ellie Peterson-Pick using that in the ability, disability groups and also the mayor. So, these things have to be put into this plan, because otherwise they sit on the shelf for the next 8 years, and we can't have that. I do feel that the roundabout is questionable, especially when we have large trucks and trailers swooping down there on our very important open days and so forth. So that's a really big issue for the traffic people to consider. And I also feel that this is only the first tiny step in a very large plan, and therefore they really need to get the trust of the locals, which I feel is a little bit missing at the moment just from listening to people. I think the communication has to be much, much stronger with such an important jewel in the crown of our parks, being Riverside Gardens. So please take note of making sure all of those people right the way through, even if it's overboard, please, in writing, not just on the internet, but certainly in writing, so we really get the confidence and encourage people to give their all in a good manner. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? For Deputy Mayor?
Thank you. Look, I want to thank the officers, and John Vines, the manager, is not here, so I also want to thank him for leading this project. Very important stuff here, addressing issues in 3 areas that have been suffered from serious erosion issues over the years. Those issues have been left for decades by previous councils in the too hard basket and the too expensive basket, and I'm very glad that we are addressing them. Finally, it does bother residents in all those areas, seeing the trees almost falling into the river, seeing bits and pieces falling, and I'm very happy that we have the plan. Obviously very expensive, and hopefully the state government will help us exactly as they helped, I think it's actually the federal government, with Tranby Reserve, which is another item, which I'm very happy that we are progressing to the tender stage. We will need to address those issues one by one and implement them Bardon Park, it wasn't highlighted, Bardon Park, we are also going to address here as part of those plans accessibility issues around the top and bottom parts of that very important park also in the city. The issue that many residents have expressed, people are limited, not even people with mobilities, just even ordinary people, seniors are finding it very hard to go down the hill to get to the toilets and vice versa. So those plans here will really uplift and upgrade what we are currently having there. So this is great news. Good memory, Councillor Palmer, about Hinds Reserve. I forgot about that, about the proposal. I think it was 2018 in the Disability Committee when I proposed that. I did remember that following that, with the former mayor, I had meetings with all the clubs there. So I'm very happy that it is on the agenda because it has been actually dragged for so long, and the money is obviously a big part of it. But if we can address that sooner rather than later to provide that accessibility for those who use those clubs, that I think that also will create a difference to how we engage with that part of the city and the clubs. So well done.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? If not, I'll go the mover to close.
Thank you. Appreciate all the comments. I think Councillor Palmer called our foreshores the jewel in our crown, or perhaps it was Riverside Gardens. And I think the city has maybe 14 kilometres of foreshore. I believe that's correct. And this plan covers a good deal of those. It's a huge responsibility, critically important for to future-proof these areas and to plan for what might be some big challenges in the future. I think the city's done a really good job. I will agree with Councillor Palmer. I'm not quite sure how I feel about the roundabout and the connection between Milne and Leake Street, but I'm interested to have more conversations with it, and I don't think that it is critical that we address that at this stage, since we still have more development of that master plan to come. So, yeah, I'll put it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. Okay, so we now move on to the next one, which is 10.5.1.7, Planning Policy Review, Tree Retention and Provision of Trees. Deputy Mayor, you've pulled this.
Thank you. I will move the committee's recommendation with the changes that I have in the run sheet, which is in what is recommended by the city in the addendum.
Thank you. So, councillors, you've all been provided with this through the addendum and in the run sheet. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Latta. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Look, we have had several discussions about this topic. So to touch the main issues, most tree canopy is lost on private property, more than 80%. A massive issue, an ongoing issue. The issue will just get bigger and bigger. Will be harder for us to meet our canopy target. We have to address it. It is a concerning issue for people all across the city, and we understood that from the community consultation, the first one and the second one. The feedback was clear. A good majority of residents all across the city are supportive of what we see on the table, which is the middle way. I'm very happy that Council brought us to this stage, which I propose. I know some people want more and some people want less or nothing. I think this is the compromised option to have a step forward into addressing those issues that we are seeing with regards to developers clearing land without any consideration whether some of the mature trees can be kept in a future design. We have a market failure here that we are trying to address. Developers come, they clear the house, demolish the house, clear the land together, subdivide, sell the lots, sometimes they develop, and then some trees are planted, or the planners look at the design. What we're trying to achieve is to slow down that process. having those people discuss what they want actually to have on the site before they clear the trees. Maybe some of the trees, in many cases, it is possible to retain them in some corners as part of the backyards for some future properties. If future property owners may want to remove that may be possible. But if we will not stop that, we are losing all those trees and I spoke to so many property owners who said, I actually would have loved to have a mature tree in my backyard. And we would not know if there was one before the land was cleared. We also added, and I thank the committee for also answering that, my proposal in LIMB 5 to have a register so we can capture all the trees that will be captured under this policy. Not only that we can follow whether what we're doing is actually successful, but also to alert future property owners before they buy that there is a regulated tree, exactly if there are significant trees on the property. We also had in the addendum explanation from the officers why this policy is even more in need at the moment in light of the SET case that confuses some of the things. That will provide clarity. It is my strong view that we better have this policy than having nothing. So I do hope that councillors will support this as a compromised option. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Latta.
Thank you. I'm one of the people that wants more. I don't think that this goes far enough in many respects. It won't necessarily have the impact that I'm looking for in maintaining our canopy and helping our canopy coverage grow. However, I think that it will help. It will help some. And whilst it's not my ideal, I think it's a good representation of where the community is at and what the community is willing to accept across the district. It does not prevent people from cutting down a tree in their backyard. Like, it doesn't. And for me, that is one of the failings of this. But I think for others, perhaps it will be one of the features of this policy that make it tenable. We have so many debates about trees. We come at it from different perspectives and I think represent different real viewpoints within the city. I'm supporting this because I think that this is a real compromise of our different positions, and also with the addendum or supplementary information that came through from the city about the implications of the recent SAT decision. I think it's necessary that we define what a regulated tree is and create this policy that does what we want it to do and represents that compromise position between the different views on council, which run the full spectrum. So I think that this is a necessary policy and I think a real genuine opportunity for us to come together on this issue. I'm willing to support it, even though it doesn't do all of the things that I want it to do for our tree canopy, and I won't be championing it as the thing that is going to ensure we meet our targets. But I think it's a really important step forward, really critical step forward for the city.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against this item? Councillor Johnson.
I'd like to move an amendment, please. Not an amendment, so an alternative.
So you're foreshadowing?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'd like to foreshadow that the city adopts the Walga model tree retention policy.
Okay, thank you. Did you wish to speak to what's on the table?
Sure, thank you. Yes, it doesn't go far enough at all. You know, I've said a million times the thing that I get the most phone calls about is when a property is being developed and all the trees on the block are being cleared. It upsets people. It upsets people because that trees and the canopy are very important to the amenity of our neighbourhoods. And our community thinks already that we have tree retention policies. And under this policy that we're considering to adopt, many of those trees will still not have protections because it doesn't protect trees for single residential developments. It doesn't protect trees where the decision maker is not the City of Bayswater. We've seen that already with the pine tree on Drake Street, that subdivisions and then are not considering the tree protections that we've got. So I think this doesn't go far enough. But what it does do is embed tree retention into our planning policies, which I think is important and, as Councillor Ladder said, necessary. I'm not sure if I'm going to support it or not.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak for? Anyone wish to speak against? I'll say a few words. So I just want to be very clear. My personal view is that government should keep their hands off people's private property. So it's concerning to me when I hear comments that people should be prevented from cutting down a tree in their backyard. And I think it's comments like that which could actually deter people from planting a tree on their private property in the first place. But we need to represent all views in our community. And as what's been mentioned previously, is that there are some people that want more and there are some people that want less than this. And so I will agree with the comments that have been made that this is a balanced approach. And I think that's what we can do as a local government, is provide balanced approaches to things that people feel so strongly about on both sides. And I'm happy to hear comments like this is a compromised position. And this is what I would hope going forward on this issue, because it has been quite a debated issue for many years on this council, is that if we can go with a compromised position that considers all people in our community. And for that reason, I'll be supporting what's in front of us, because I do believe it's balanced. And it is also very clear on what this council considers appropriate and what's not permitted, and it improves on what we already have. And so that's why I'll be supporting it. Anyone else wish to speak on this? If not, I'll go the move to close.
Thank you for everyone who spoke. A few comments in response. The issues, I agree, Councillor Johnson. I also hear this feedback from many people, especially when they see this impacting their neighbourhood or their area, then it really affects them. And those issues, we will be seeing them all across the city, gradually towards the north, and as a result of the train stations and more development. We can actually start in having those frameworks now to stop what we already see in the southern area of the city, Mellons and Bayswater, which is quite devastating, I must say, in some regards. And I'm referring not to the ordinary property owners. I refer to the developers and the clearing of land. That is the issue that I'm putting on place. And this is the market failure. This policy in front of us is not perfect. It will not capture all trees, as it should not capture all trees, and we will not stop all tree canopy loss on private property. That is not the intention, but we will stop hopefully some. And what I wanted to highlight is that we can amend it either way at any time. And that is, I think, the powerful thing of our policies. I do want to address the Wolga model that was raised as an alternative because I will not support it, and I will refer to that by a short example, a call that I received from a friend of mine who asked me to help a friend of hers who lives in Cambridge, and they did adopt the Wolga model policy. And she told me, can you please help her? Can you please help her? I told her, I'm not a counsellor in that shire. I can't do anything. Told me she really needs help. So I called that lady and I asked, what's the situation? And she told me in very short, she bought a property 3 days after the policy, the Wolga policy was adopted by their council for different reasons. If I can say, for stopping development, completely different reasons for what we're trying to encourage in the city of Bayswater. And she has not a giant lot, and she has a giant eucalyptus tree and a giant ficus tree. Those fig trees that you see in Hyde Park, those giant with the roots, she has it in her backyard. And she loves trees. She says, I'm a greenie, I'm a vegan, I'm not against trees. I want to remove that tree. It is too much. I don't allow actually my girl to go there. The branch is falling and they do not allow her. Cambridgeshire do not allow her. So that is exactly what I do not want to see, someone like that. She said, we want to plant more trees. We want to beautify. We do not have issue. But someone sold the house. Someone planted it a long time ago. It is a beautiful tree. I saw pictures. She sent me videos. I was really interested. But that tree should not be next to that house. That tree is in a park. That is my position. I do not think that someone like that needs to hate their backyard or restrict their child because of the fear to go to the tree. It is their backyard. So I do believe, and I commend the Mayor for the comments and supporting this balanced approach, and I hope other councils will come on board from all sides. We need something reasonable. I also do not want to stop anyone from planting trees. Really, this is the opposite from what we're trying to achieve. I don't want anyone to rush and trim trees. I want people to understand who we're actually addressing here, and everyone, 100% of the people that I spoke with understood that there is a problem with what developers do because they are not going to stay here. They're removing it and go quickly. Just try to slow that down and see how those trees can be incorporated into the design, and this is what this policy does, which is also based on some of the principles for the Wolga policy, but removed all the more extreme stuff. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? That's Councillor Maleka, Councillor Palmer, Councillor Latta, Deputy Mayor and myself. All those against? Councillor Osadzowski, Councillor Easton, Councillor Sutherland and Councillor Johnson. That is carried. So that concludes the items that were subject to deputations, and we'll now move to consideration of the reports in section 10 that have been withdrawn by councillors. The first one is 10.1.1 Scheme Amendment 101 Short-Term Rental Accommodation. Councillor Sutherland, you pulled this?
Yeah, just to vote against it, so I don't want to move it.
Okay, do I have a mover and a seconder for this? Councillor Sutherland, just your microphone.
Sorry, my
Councillor
apologies.
Sutherland, just your microphone.
What item? Sorry, my...
It's the scheme amendment. So do I have a mover and a seconder? Move, Councillor Osadzowski. Seconded, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Osadzowski.
My understanding of this is it's just to bring what we need to do in alignment with state government requirements.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Yes, very happy to have a policy on this issue where we can actually go into the details and understanding where those short-term rental accommodations should be located, conditions, etc. Really good step forward.
Anyone wish to speak against? Councillor Sutherland.
Just because the state government wants it doesn't mean to say we have to, oh yeah, okay, we'll do it. I know it's going to happen anyway, but I really like the other motion just then on trees. I really don't like the overreach of government deciding how people can use their house. I don't know if anyone read, there was a report came out last week saying that these short-term accommodations have had minimal impact on rental properties and costings and availability in the cities. Now, I grant probably places like Busselton, they would have, because the popularity of tourism, but in places like here, it hasn't had an impact. So it's just another example of government overreach, and also highlights that they've got no idea what they're doing for accommodation, and we've got to be again in the mix.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak for? Anyone wish to speak against? If not, I'll go the mover to close.
I'd just like to thank Councillor Sutherland for her comments.
Okay, I'll put this to the vote. All those in favour? That is Councillor Maleka, Councillor Palmer, Councillor Latta, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Johnston and myself. All those against is Councillor Osazowski, Councillor Eveson and Councillor Sutherland. That is carried. So the next one is 10.1.3 Economic Development Strategy. Councillor Latta, you've pulled this.
I have an alternative.
That's been provided to everyone. It's in your run sheet, councillors. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Palmer. Councillor Latta.
Thank you. My amendment is just some small changes. So moving one of the items to another heading where I think it makes more sense, and including placemaking enhancement objective for the city to focus on activating town centres as public spaces by supporting community-led placemaking. And I'll just speak about that in particular quickly, because I think that one of the things that we overlook when we think about placemaking is the fact that placemaking is meant to be community-led, and it is about creating community public spaces in our towns. It isn't necessarily primarily a business-led process, although it benefits everybody by creating more vibrant and activated town centres. I think that giving the community more opportunities for input and ownership over placemaking brings people with the arts and culture and creative background to activate spaces, and some of these people have more expertise at it, more interest and time to devote to it than necessarily the business owners. And I think that it also goes to the fact that our town centres, whilst they are places where businesses are, they are also for the whole community, and they need to serve the whole community. And creating great spaces where people want to be is good for business. As for the economic development strategy overall, I think it's a good start, and it's really needed. I think that we have a lot of work to do in this space, so I'm pleased to see it. I think there might be a few gaps that I'm interested to see if we get feedback from the community about, particularly around arts and culture, which I think is an important vein running through the city with a lot of creative enterprise and also creative workers who live in the city. I'm also hoping that the city can make sure that home businesses and micro businesses are included in the businesses that are caught in the net of this, because they are probably the greatest proportion of businesses in the city are home-based businesses and micro businesses, and they are a really important part of this city's economic fabric. I will just assume for now that that is what the city means. Every time business is mentioned, it is the full spectrum of businesses that are in the city. I think that the city is an excellent place to do business. I chose the city for my own business, and I wouldn't at this point choose to be anywhere else. But I think that there is a lot we can do to make sure that other businesses know that this is a great place to do business and encourage them to come and do that.
Thank you. Councillor Palmer.
Thank you. Just very briefly, Madam Mayor. I agree with everything that Councillor Latta has said, and I believe we are in the prime position. We have now Galleria beginning to open their purse and excite everybody with the new Galleria, and economic development around it will be well promoted by the city and holding hands with all of our business people. Now, I just remember 2-3 years ago, we held a morning breakfast with yourself, Madam Mayor, and our CEO. I think we had about 200-300 business people there, and it was very exciting to see. And those people are still there, still waiting for that handheld excitement that will happen within the city of Bayswater, where, you know, a short flight, a bird's flight, a blackbird flight from the CBD, which is an expensive place to run your business, and they should be welcomed into the city of Bayswater, where they will make just as much money, all these business people, with far less overheads, and a great support from the city. So I'm all for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Councillor Eason?
Not against, just a question. I'm just interested in regards to some of the feedback, because there was a lot of feedback that went into this economic development strategy. And I just interested if businesses were asking for placemaking or, I guess, supporting businesses, networking events, that sort of thing. So it looks like we're swapping them over. I just interested to recall that feedback. The city can recall.
Just to clarify, I haven't removed that thing. I just moved it to another section where it made more sense.
Okay.
I'll go to the CEO.
Through you, Madam Mayor, that's my understanding as well in discussions with Councillor Latta, is just moving it to a different section within there. But from memory, and I'll be corrected by the manager, but I don't think there was a lot of feedback from the consultation in relation to placemaking.
Anything else, Councillor Eason? No? Anyone? Councillor Ostarsky.
Question in regards to A in the red, if it's removing it from one place and putting it into another place because the other place makes more sense, could we also include that same language from A in B as well, and would it still make sense? So what I'm hearing from the amendment is that the language is fine, it would fit better in a different area. So I'm just wondering, can we also include that language that was in A in B as well?
If you want to.
So the language in A was previously under placemaking. It's not placemaking. And so I moved it under stakeholder engagement and relationship building, which is what it describes. And under placemaking, placemaking enhancements, I have added some actual placemaking. That's what's happened. So it wouldn't make sense to combine it, because then it would stay in the place where it currently is, where it doesn't match the heading.
So both parts would still be included in the economic development
Nothing's
strategy.
been removed.
Nothing's been removed.
Anyone wish to speak against the item? Anyone wish to speak for? If not, Councillor Sutherland?
Yeah, look, I'm just going to make a few comments on this, not for or against. Well, actually, probably more against. I understand the intent of it, and I understand what Councillor Latta's doing. I just want to, we've been through this placemaking thing before, and number two, we've got a very good community group in Bayswater, the town, Future Bayswater. They do heaps of stuff. I don't know what else we can do in Bayswater in that area. As far as Morley's concerned, we are open for business. We've got plenty. People can come and build as high as they want. They can do whatever they want. The problem is they don't want to, and I don't think any of this is going to do this. We have our MPs putting up, what do you call it, when the Galleria has decided to go ahead. They're saying that their petition helped that. It didn't. It would be better if they bought the Bunnings site or that other site on the corner of in Morley next to McInerney Ford, which is on for sale, which never goes anywhere because it's got an easement there. It'd be better if they bought that and built something like a TAFE or something to do with hospitality, because in Morley, the biggest thing, in my opinion, what's happened to make it really good is we've had the Coventry Village, which is a lot of multicultural food stalls, and that's spilled out into the town site, and it's now a go-to area for food, and that's all done organically. We didn't do that; we enhanced it, but I just don't know how this is going to make businesses come to me. I'm not sure. Obviously, Maylands and Bayswater are different kettle of fish. Bayswater, you've got the train. Maylands, you've got the train. That's different. Naranda, well, it's a shopping centre. What can I say?
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this?
Just a
Councillor
question.
Maleka, go ahead.
Sorry, it might have been answered, but just to clarify, so you haven't removed anything, but the addition is just that dot point under B. So that is a new line that you've included, activating the town centre. Okay.
Anyone else wish to speak on this? I will say a few words. So just on the amendments, happy to move under a separate heading. I think that makes sense. So thanks for suggesting that. And then B, I think is fine as well, because that's what we should be doing, is helping community-led placemaking rather than it being city-led placemaking. And this is what some of our community groups are already doing in activating town centres. And I think the example, we've got the markets in Bayswater, and that's a community-led initiative that we as a city assist them to be able to put on for the community. So I don't have any issues with the amendments. In terms of the economic development strategy, I'm just so glad to see it actually. We've got a draft to go out for community comment. We've been working on this for a long time. Bayswater, and not just Bayswater, the suburb, the city of Bayswater is an awesome place to do business. We support our businesses thrive here. We have great, our businesses are our, point of difference compared to other areas in the city. And, we as a local government want to support our small businesses, our big businesses, and we want to encourage more businesses to come into the city of Bayswater. So this is really great, and we need to be proud of this and really promote our city as a destination for that is prosperous for businesses. So I will go to the Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Yeah, just to add in support, I support this. I do echo in some way what Councillor actually Sutherland said, in the sense that I hope that we will see some benefits as a result of the strategy when we will have that. I wouldn't want that to have another strategy to just sit there. Like we had the marketing strategy that we also went through the whole process and was not implemented, and we had our other stuff around the town centre. So I hope that the actions that we will see there will be good actions that will lead to more business and better town centres for businesses and for our residents. So those are my hopes, and this is why I'm supporting this and hoping that it will be a robust one. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak on this? If not, I'll go to the mover to close.
Thank you. I note the comments made. I just wanted to remind people that when we looked at grants, we made sure that placemaking grants would be open to community. That was a recent thing that we did because that reflected the kind of placemaking that we wanted to see. And so that is just what this point reflects. I'm looking forward to seeing what the community has to say about the economic development strategy if this goes through.
Thank you. I'll put this to the vote. All those in favour? That is Councillor Maleka, Councillor Sazowski, Councillor Easton, Councillor Palmer, Councillor Latta, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Johnson and myself. All those against is Councillor Sutherland. That is carried. Okay, so we now go to 10.1.4, proposed naming of right-of-way within the street block bordered by Crawford Road, Start Street, York Street and Railway Parade Maylands. Councillor Osdowski, you have pulled this. There is a confidential attachment, so I just want to make sure you're aware of that before you...
My apologies, I need to make an impartiality interest on this item. Sorry.
Okay.
So my daughter lives on the part of this lane that's in the city of Stirling, so it's not on this part of the lane, so I just declare that as an impartiality interest.
And you'll be staying in the room?
And I'll stay in the room.
Okay. So, Councillor Osdowski, there is a confidential attachment, so as long as you're not referring to that attachment, we can discuss it in open session. Are you moving the officer's recommendation?
There was some other information that came out, but I'm happy just to stick on this screen here and just remove limb number 4.
Okay, so you're moving limbs 1, 2 and 3?
1, 2 and 3.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Osdowski.
Thank you. It was good to see that 3 names went out to the community to name this lane, and it was interesting to read how Carrack was the preferred option of most of the respondents. It is disappointing to learn that Landgate didn't receive an approval from the Aboriginal Corporation for that name to be used, and it's unfortunate that the city needs to refer back to another option because of that issue there in Landgate. In regards to removing limb 4, I feel that the use of a name, it shouldn't be elevated above all of the other names that we have on our naming register. And on our naming register, which is current as of July, there are 53 naming options, and names on there come from local sporting club people, from tree names, plant species, animals, people who have contributed significantly to the life of the COB over the decades that we've been in existence. There's building names, there's business names, there's industrial landmark names, there's environmental advocates, history advocates, sport advocates, and additionally, there are a significant amount of immigrant names on that list as well. So by removing limb number 4, I feel as though we can consider names equally going forward.
Thank you. Councillor Sutherland? Nothing? Anyone wish to speak against? Councillor Latta?
Yeah, I'll foreshadow the alternative in the supplementary.
Yep.
Thank you. I think that it's horrible to remove limb 4 and 5 because that name was so strongly supported. Carrack was so strongly supported by residents there, and in the conversations that we had in the Reconciliation Committee, it was really clear that it is such a significant name. There was really strong support within that committee to use that name somewhere. And limb 5 on the alternative is about finding a pathway forward to ensure that we can use Aboriginal names in our naming, and due to some of the challenges that we are currently seeing with that process. So I will not support this particular motion that removes those aspects. I think that they do need a name for this street. I'm happy with Cumpa, but I think the other limbs 4 and 5 were really important.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak in favour? Anyone wish to speak against? Councillor Palmer?
Thank you. I do agree with Councillor Latta. I understand and respect where Councillor Osdowski is coming from, but I hope he can also relate to the side of the Carrack Lane, or the name Carrack, which is not just for Aboriginal reasons, but for naming reasons for families. This is a spiritual name, And if we actually concur and understand and want to reconcile with Aboriginal issues, concerns, and their whole history, this is one reason why Carrick is so important. It means the red-tailed cockatoo, and it's part of their logical family name that they use. So it is very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak for? Councillor Maleka?
Thank you. Yes, I'll be supporting this, what we have on the table. From what I understand, we have a process in place already, and I think that's what Councillor Ostaszewski is trying to highlight. Why are we giving this priority over other names? And it's not saying this name won't be raised when we're looking to name something in the future. It just is on the list like everything else. So, yes, I'll be supporting this.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, I'd like to support the foreshadowed motion. Obviously, we need to name this lane. We have names. There's a process. This one is what we've got on the table is recommending Cumper Lane. That's awesome. That's fine. Faye Cumper was a pianist who played with the what was then called the Blind Institute, now Senses, and lived and served the vision impaired community in our area for a long time. So that's fine. But the overwhelming proportion of the community really did back Cumper Lane. And if you had the good foot, sorry?
Carrick.
Yeah, that one as well. Thank you. It was Carrick Lane, and my apologies. And if you had the good fortune to sit with our Aboriginal elders and listen to them talk about how that Carrick name meant and was so important to them, and to ask the city to explore a way that we could use that name for somewhere really significant, I think it was really important to hear. So I think we need to explore other avenues for using the Aboriginal names in our community.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak in favour? I'll say a few words. I am going to support what's on the table. And what I want to be clear about is that this motion doesn't say that Carrick is not an important name or a name that's preferred. It's actually on our list of names. So it's already gone through that process of being considered suitable as a name. We went out to community with 3 options, including Carrick, and the community wanted Carrick. It's not by this motion that we are not supporting Carrick. It's because we weren't able, over a very long period of time, to get approval from the Aboriginal corporations to be able to use that name. And that's my understanding from this report, is that because of that, we're not able to actually decide it, because if that wasn't the case, I think council wouldn't have a problem at all with naming it. And the consultation on that, the consultation went out specifically about this street and about the residents in that area, if they supported that, which they overwhelmingly did. There's no question at all about that. But that doesn't mean that through no fault of council that we don't want to name it that at all, right? It's outside of our control. But what we shouldn't be doing is that because of this consultation, then saying, now we have to find somewhere else to use that name as a priority. I don't agree with that process. I agree that when the next laneway, street, whatever, comes up for naming, at that point in time, wherever that may be, within the city, that the exact same process that happens for everything else happens for whatever that place may be. And there's nothing saying that Carrick won't be considered at that point. All it is doing is following the process of not picking one out now and trying to find somewhere to fit that. And so for that reason, that's why I'm supporting what's on the table. Councillor Latta.
I have a question. Without LIM 5, what is the avenue for the city to adopt Aboriginal names in the future?
I'll go to the manager.
Through the chair, the city already has a resolution from council previously to investigate or to commence the process to dual name Malgamongup and Barden Park. So we will have to undertake a process with Landgate to get that name through as a part of that process anyway. We would have these conversations with Landgate as a part of that.
Anyone wish to speak for? Anyone wish to speak against? Councillor Palmer?
Just a question, Madam Mayor. I'm looking at Lim 4. You're talking about Lim 4.
No, Councillor Latta was referring to Lim 5, which was in the supplementary documents.
Okay.
And it says, request the CEO to contact Landgate to expedite the process of naming within the City of Bayswater.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a quick question, if I may, very respectfully ask why and for what reason this was obviously advised by the city officers at the meeting. Why should it be deleted?
Who's that question to?
That's the question, I suppose, to Councillor Osazowski with respect.
No, so Councillor Palmer, you've already spoken, so you don't have the
question.
So that he'll cover that in debate. So
it was just a question.
Okay, I'm going to go the mover to close.
I agree with what people have said around Karak being very important. And as I mentioned in my opening, we know that the community wanted that name for this laneway. And it is unfortunate because of delays from the Aboriginal Corporation that they have not provided permission for that used through the Landgate processes. And as I mentioned in my opening as well, and as the Mayor has also said, I do not feel that we should be elevating certain names above other certain names which are also on our names list.
I'll now put this to the vote. All those in favour? That's Councillor Maleka, Councillor Osazowski, Councillor East and Councillor Sutherland and myself. All those against? Councillor Palmer, Councillor Latta, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Johnson. That is carried. So we now have to go to 10.1.5, which is consent to advertise draft local planning scheme, number 25, and there's a number of councillors that need to leave the room.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll be leaving the room as a proximity. Thank you.
Do I have a mover and seconder for this item? Move Councillor Sutherland, seconded Councillor...
Sorry, I need to make my declaration again.
Oh, do you?
At some point. I'm not sure when the right point.
Oh, okay. I'll just check. Yeah. If you'd like to make it now.
Thank you. I have a proximity interest in item 10.1.5, consent to advertise draft local planning scheme number 25. I own and reside a property in Bayswater adjacent to shops which are currently zoned special purpose and are proposed to change zones to local centre with a density code of R80. To the full extent of my interest has been provided to the Department of Local Government, Industry Regulation and Safety. I've been granted ministerial approval to participate and vote on the item under section 5.693A of the Local Government Act 1995.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Maleka. Councillor Sutherland. Councillor Maleka.
Just I look forward to the community's response.
Anyone wish to speak against this item? Anyone for? Councillor Johnson.
Thanks. I'll speak briefly. I didn't have a whole heap of time to prepare because I didn't know I was going to be in this room until late this afternoon. But it's very exciting that we are endorsing local planning scheme number 25. I think another item on the agenda has us amending local planning scheme 24 with 101st Amendment. So, yeah, it's time for an update, clearly. We know it will take time, but I certainly want to thank the staff who've done the bulk of the work in getting this report together, to getting it compliant in a planning environment that's constantly changing, and is embedding some really important contemporary uses in here, including some aspects of tree retention. The process has been sort of a comprehensive look. There are some big changes proposed in some areas, and look forward to seeing what happens with them when it gets across the line.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? Councillor Sadowski.
Thank you. It's good to see that we have a new town planning scheme up for public comment. When we started looking at this town planning scheme, we were told that this was going to be a bold new scheme. And in my opinion, I don't believe this scheme is bold, in particular along our new along a major transport corridors, for example, extending from Narandis train station through to Morley's train station, over to Bayswater and through to Maylands. I don't think it's been bold enough in those areas, particularly considering the amount of investment the state government has put into those areas. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the community has to say about this.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak for? Anyone wish to speak? Deputy Mayor.
Yes. Look, just in light of Councillor Sadowski's comment, I do thank the officers for the planners in different teams. I know it was a very comprehensive work, and I personally pointed out that I think it's a key issue. I think last year in our strategic workshop, and I thank the director for progressing this and the city. Very important that we are finally modernizing something that has been quite old, fixing the issues and rezoning in relevant areas. And I think from what I've seen, there is quite a lot of that happening in relevant locations. So I think it's quite a good one to go out for consultation. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this? If not, I'll go the mover to close. Councillor Sutherland? No, I'll put this to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. For your information, councillors, that item was carried unanimously. So we'll now move to item 10.2.3, investment report for the period ended 31 July 25. Councillor Johnson, you've pulled this one. Are you moving the officer's recommendation?
Yes.
Do I have a seconder? Deputy Mayor, Councillor Johnson.
Thank you. Just want to say how much I enjoy seeing these reports every month, and note this time round we have 40% of our investments in fossil-free investments. It comes and goes. It depends what's on the market, obviously, but I'm really glad that we have this reporting back, and I'm really glad we have this opportunity to do that through our investment policy.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor? No? Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? I'll put it straight to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. Okay, the next item, Councillor Johnson, you have a proximity interest in this one. It's Guildford Road and King William Street intersection upgrade. Deputy Mayor, you pulled this. Just wait. Are you moving the officer's recommendation?
Yes.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Palmer, Deputy Mayor.
Yes, thank you. Look, I'm happy, very happy to support this. This is closing this issue that we discussed a few months ago. For those who were not here, I think around 4 years ago, I proposed to council, which supported as part of the condition, as part of our approval to close Watley Crescent as part of the redevelopment of the Bayswater train station. We added a condition on the state government that we will agree to that only if they fund and start implementing the needed improvements to the intersection of Guildford Road and King William Street, and specifically having appropriate pedestrian facilities. This is something that many residents have been concerned about, specifically seniors that live in various aged care facilities in that area. Many residents go to the river and to the town centre. So far, even though they did provide quite a lot of election commitments and funding, nothing has happened. So I'm very happy that it's still on the table on our agenda, and we are continuing to advocate for that to happen in the near future.
Thank you, Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, this has been a black spot, which the cost has not been there from Main Roads and the government. I believe this is now being advocated by our member of Maylands, Mr Dan Bull, to proceed with this, which is wonderful, and we thank him. But I suppose the cost of that has gone to the Burswood racing track, so hopefully they'll bring it back. Thank you.
Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? I'll put it straight to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. If we can get Councillor Johnson back in. For your information, Councillor Johnson, that was carried unanimously. The next item is 10.3.3, Tender 7 2025 Morley Drive, Bath Road Roundabout Landscape and Irrigation Works. Councillor Palmer, you've pulled this one.
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you.
You're moving the officer's recommendation?
Yes, as
Do
is.
I have a seconder? Councillor Sazowski, Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This has been in preparation and under construction for some time now, and this is has been another instance where this city has been very forward in pushing for this, and I'm very pleased about that. And Amber Jade Sanderson, member for Morley, came to the gallery about 3 or 4 years ago to promote this and assist, and we're thankful that it's now underway. We can see by the costs incurred for landscaping have increased, and I'm pleased that our officers have shown a great way of improving the landscaping at lesser cost, and we're happy to agree to that with their explanations. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Sazowski.
Councillor Palmer, I'm wondering in Lim 3, where it says notes the Chief Executive Officer will investigate options to deliver the project within the agreed costs with Main Roads WA, if it would be worth putting in there and the member for Morley to advocate for more funds. Considering that the member for Morley was the person who pushed for the project and was able to get the initial funds for the project.
Thank you. I actually had long discussions with our director, who gave reasons and plans of what they were actually proceeding with. So I'm happy to go along with the officer's report as is instanced in 3. Thank you.
Councillor Sazowski, are you still happy to second the motion? Do you wish to speak to it? Okay. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? I'll put it straight to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. The next item is 10.3.6, the Pathway Master Plan. Nobody's pulled this, but there's an interest, so we have to do it. Do I have a mover? Moved Councillor Palmer, seconded Councillor Latta. Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, we had very detailed workshops and plans and maps showing the new detailed sites in sort of what I call disc sizes in each Morley city centre, Maylands and Aranda and so forth, and the hierarchy. I do believe that the actual the criteria may have been a little bit different, but you can't please everybody. I'm happy with it as it stands to proceed as it's written, and thank the officers for their good work in what they've done on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Latta.
Yeah, I'll just say that I think that this is a really good piece of work and is going to guide a lot of important work in the future. I'm not entirely aligned with the point scoring system, but I understand that the policy is going to come to the policy committee after the election, after caretaker. So I will address those there. I understand this is the point scoring system that helped choose these projects. I'm happy for these projects to proceed, and I understand that there will still be consultation with on all of these streets, and that may determine that some of these projects may not happen due to that consultation if people don't. So I'm happy for that to proceed. I'm really pleased that we have a way of weighing up all of the different pathway projects in the district and have a method of assessing them against each other, because I think that we have a lot of need in this area and it's difficult to allocate budget. I think it's great that we have a process now.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? Deputy Mayor?
Yes. Thank you to the officers who worked on that. I also would like to acknowledge the members from the Active Transport Advisory Committee. We had several meetings where we discussed it really for quite some time, refined the criteria. A lot of consultation with the community members has gone to see what you see here and question some of the aspects around the process. I think it's really great for residents to see that we are considering footpaths as a key issue in our city to the level that we have a master plan now with a full process and some guidance. I do, because it is here, I do think the criteria is quite robust and well, and I'm very pleased to see, and the committee agreed with it, the focus, first of all, around schools. Kids' safety should always be number one in our priority when it comes to footpaths, and this is what was reflected and was agreed by the committee, so I think that's a good outcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Eason.
Just wanted to speak forward just quickly. I know it's a long night, so just really delighted about this. It removes ambiguity about pathway selection and provides a very clear strategic way forward to deliver footpaths across the city moving forward. It's a huge bit of work, but very required. I know Bryce has probably spent a lot of time, plus lots of other people. But a huge thank you to the officers for it. It's a plan that aligns everything, and it was really good to sort of do some means testing in the briefing that we had to look at scenarios and understand where they would sort of rank against each other. So yeah, great job. Meets the needs of our community, I believe. So thanks.
Councillor Sutherland.
Yeah, I just don't understand why Horsley Way, which is like a round, and sort of goes nowhere, very quiet, why we would spend $103,000 on that when we could. I know we're doing it to the poor, but honestly, is that like the fifth most important one to do? Or I just don't get that one. So I'm not supporting it for that.
Thank you, Councillor Sosowski.
2 years ago, I raised the footpath program as part of our council-led business planning process, and spoke to council at that time around the requirement to invest more money into our footpath programs, and we had many meetings leading up to our budget. Not this one, but the year before, where we added more money to our footpath program. And then furthermore, during our most recent council-led business planning project, we also advocated for the city to increase funding in footpath in the footpath program again. So it's really good to see that the city has listened to what council has wanted as a priority through those business planning sessions. And out of that work, I'm really happy to see that we now have a footpath master plan, which can help guide how those footpaths are going to be built across our city. Interestingly, when I first raised the issue with council and spoke with the administration, it was going to take around about 79 or 80 years for us to implement a footpath on every street across the city of Bayswater. And I raised the fact that we are an inner city suburb, we are growing, we are becoming denser, we have gotten out important transport links. There's just going to be a greater need for people to be able to get around on footpaths. So I'm glad that we've brought that 80-year time frame down to 57 years with the current funding, and hopefully council can continue to consider funding our footpath program in the future, so we can bring those years down even further.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this? Councillor Johnson.
So I just briefly say, I was going to talk about the footpath prioritisation program under that item, so I won't discuss that. But just to note, these are the footpaths that we're building. I think previously we had a 10-year footpath plan that ran out, like we got to the end of 10 years and built anyway, built them, but it's good to see that's proceeding, and yes, one day we will get the footpath in every street that's in the plan.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this? Okay, I'll go to the mover to close.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I think all the reasons that you've given for this are there, but I just want to, not in contradiction, but just in to elaborate that 36 Horsley Way does have a PAW connection, which in the actual scheme of the weighting shows that it's an access to schools, to shops, to buses, to transport, and to the parks, of course. So it is a very important PAW. So I hope everyone changes their mind and puts that on their important list. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll put this to the vote. All those in favour? That's Councillor Maleka, Councillor Osazowski, Councillor Eason, Councillor Palmer, Councillor Ladder, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Johnson. All those against? Councillor Sutherland and myself. That is carried. So we now go to 10.4.2, Community Services Fee Waiver Report. Councillor Palmer, you pulled this one.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, thank you.
Are you moving the officer's recommendation?
Yes, as is.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Ladder. Councillor Palmer.
Thank you. Looking at each of the services here, non-profit, I think they're very worthy. They've been within the city for many, many years. And just as a reference, I have a impartial interest being once the presenter of awards and being involved with them only in those circumstances. And that was with the North of Perth Music Festival. Now, while I'm on the North of Perth Music Festival, just to let you know that that is a 40-year anniversary. And the gentleman that is the director running that it's his 50th anniversary. So it's very special for the city to have that for 40 years. And the adjudicators there are very academic. We've got 700 people this year. Young and middle-aged, from universities all the way down to ages 4. So it's the only Eisteddfod in Perth, and our city should be really proud of that. So thank you for your support on that. And also, I feel that every other one here, including Future Bayswater, all of these people deserve an accolade for what they do within the city in promoting activities and so forth. So I'll just leave it to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ladder.
Yeah, I think that I'm very grateful to all of these organisations for the programs that they provide and the fact that they provide them in the city of Bayswater, and I'm very pleased to support them in this way.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Go ahead.
Yeah, look, I'm supportive of these. I think all these groups do a really good thing. Loving the bingo. Can't wait to use that when I'm a bit older. That looks great. But the last one, just on the Future Bayswater one, they get a waiver of $2,418. Doesn't the Bendigo Bank also give a lot of money for that? I'm not quite sure how that all works. I thought the Bendigo Bank put in a lot of money, and anyway, that's just a comment.
Comment, not a question? No? Okay. Anyone wish to speak in favour? Anyone wish to speak against? If not, I'll put it straight to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. So the next one is 10.5.1.2, Policy Review Council Vehicle Fleet. Councillor Johnson, you've pulled this one.
Yes, moving the officer's recommendation, please.
Do I have
Or
a
the
seconder?
committee's recommendation.
Yeah. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Palmer, Councillor Johnson.
This is a really exciting report that enables our fleet in future to be assessed in terms of emissions reductions and just gives it a more strategic vision. It's a great report. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Palmer.
Yeah, this was very good reading. And what I like about it is it's public. It's not confidential. And it's good for our residents to see how devised it is, and also exactly how deep the city's fleet has gone with our offices into studying what's best in each direction and looking ahead to the ICE and so forth that are involved in choosing what for where and so forth. It's very in-depth, and it's something that's a real keep. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? I'll put it straight to the vote. All those in favour? That's unanimous. So we move on to the next one, 10.5.1.3, Policy Review, Media and Communications. Deputy Mayor, you've pulled this one. Are you moving officer's recommendation?
No, I would like to move an alternative, which I provided during the meeting to governance.
Has that been distributed to councillors? No.
No, because I drafted it during the meeting.
Okay. So I'll just ask the minute taker to put that on the screen and give councillors opportunity to read it.
Okay, so it will not look, all the top should be removed. That's the previous one. So all the bottom, I can read it out.
Let's just make sure it's correct.
Yes.
Is that correct?
And without two, you need to remove two. Yep.
So it's just one.
Yeah, just without the numbers, and just
So
remove two.
It's just that council retains, not one, because it's only one paragraph.
Yes, that's it. And I'm happy to read it out, Madam Mayor.
Please.
That council retains the Crown Media.
Sorry, can we just take the number one off? Yeah.
Thank you. That council retains the Crown Media and Communications policy as contained in attachment 1, with a new paragraph to be inserted in clause 3, which says, in addition to the mayor or the deputy mayor, at least one relevant councillor or ward councillor where the matter is related to a specific ward be invited to at least 50% of photo opportunities each term on a rotating basis, alphabetically by ward.
I'm happy to second that.
Thank you. As deputy mayor, I thought this is brought by the committee for review, and I thought this is opportunity to improve and address issues that have been raised over the years, and I think that can is a step forward to actually address those issues, hopefully, which means that we will have a mix of councillors in promotion photos of what we actually do and decisions that we have made. So we will have a more inclusive promotion processes. So we will have a strong and united team that where everyone hopefully will be happy to be part of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, this amendment is fine. I think the policy is fine. I'm really, when I reflect on my time as deputy mayor, unlike our current deputy mayor, I never had the opportunity to chair a meeting. I never had the opportunity to do a citizenship ceremony. So I'm glad to say that those things have been afforded to this deputy mayor, and I'm happy to have this additional limb. It's great. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? I'll put it, Councillor Sutherland.
Yeah, I'm happy for that. The only problem is for me, being a teacher, every time we can't get a photo done after 4 o'clock, so I don't think I'll be included in that one, but I do like the intent of it.
Anyone wish to speak against? If not, I'll go.
Yes, I will go, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the comments, and I do want to acknowledge the mayor comments. I do appreciate the opportunities that I enjoy them during my term as deputy mayor. Thank you.
I'll put this to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. So we now go to item 10.5.1.8, policy review honorary freeman of the city. Councillor Sutherland, you've pulled this one.
Yeah, look, I did.
Are you moving officer's recommendation?
No, I wanted to ask a question.
No, we'll ask the question. Okay, I'll ask first if there's a mover and a seconder. Is there a mover and a seconder? Councillor Eason, seconded. Councillor Maleka. I'll get to the question in a second, Councillor Sutherland. Councillor Eason.
Not much to say, really. There were just some adjustments which I think were quite timely and helpful to make this a good and fair and robust process.
Councillor Maleka.
Agreed. I'm really happy with some of the amendments that we made during the policy committee, and they've come through to really tighten up the process, because this is a really honorary award to be giving. It's one of the highest that we give in the city, so I felt that, the adjustments made have really highlighted that.
Thank you. Councillor Sutherland, you had a question?
Yeah, I just want to, what I'm voting on is that the name's still going to be Honorary Freeman?
Correct.
Yeah, okay, good. That's good. That's all.
Okay. Anyone wish to speak against?
On that, can I move an amendment, please?
Being?
Can I request that the name be changed to the Keys to the City?
I'll ask the mover and seconder if they accept that amendment. No. Councillor Johnson, do you wish to debate the amendment?
Yes, please.
Do I have a seconder for the amendment? Councillor Latta, Councillor Johnson.
Thank you. Yes, it is an award we don't give very often, and it's got a gendered name. I think we need to be a bit more contemporary with it, which does not diminish the type of the award. A number of names were suggested by the officers that other local governments use for their highest and unique honour. I thought Keys to the City was kind of a bit more fun. I'd be happy if someone wanted to suggest honorary free person or another name that wasn't as gendered. But I thought Keys to the City was fun. It says what it is.
Thank you. Councillor Latta.
Yeah, I think that we could do with a more contemporary name. I agree with what Councillor Johnson said.
Thank you. Would anyone like to speak against the amendment? Councillor Sutherland.
Yes, I do. I get that, and it looks like everything's going to be contemporary. We've got to have contemporary names for everything. Even Cracker Barrel in America's changed their logo to be more contemporary. But this is a term that's been used since the Roman times. It's got a link to the past. It's got a link to our past, and I think, it was used more. Started in the Roman times and in the medieval times, and that's where it came from, the freeman of the city, for someone that did something really good, valour, that sort of thing. And I think these terms are not just plucked out of air, they've come from a history, and I think we have to respect that history. There's just no point, this contemporary, let's change it because we've got to change it. I know they did in the city of Perth, and there's a lot of people who are freemen upset about that. They'd like the old term because it means something. So can we just move on from these things and do something? I think we should leave it.
Thank you. Would anyone like to speak in favour of the amendment? Anyone wish to speak against the amendment? Councillor Maleka?
Yeah, look, I think we should be honouring the historical significance of this award. And so, you know, I don't believe we should be getting caught up in it literally, but rather collectively. It's Freeman collectively, not being in a gendered sense. So, yeah, I think we should remember it's built on tradition.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak in favour of the amendment? Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I don't like being called, not that I'm ever going to be called it, but if someone said, and I said, oh yeah, well, I'm a Freeman of the city, you know, I just don't feel comfortable with it. I like to think that I'm a woman, and therefore I feel keys to the city. There are other terms here that we use that are non-gendered, citizen and so forth, but, you know, yeah, I can understand that.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against the amendment? I'm going to speak against the amendment, and what initially I would have been supportive of this, but during the policy committee, what was highlighted to me was that Freeman, it's not actually gendered. It's like human. Human isn't gendered. It's just the word. And that Freeman is just the word and not a gendered connotation to it. And so I get that. And so that's why I'll just be, I won't be supporting the amendment. I'll go back to the mover of the amendment.
Thank you. I'm pretty sure it's good that we're not doing things the way they did in Roman times, just saying. I think we've moved on. And having gendered names for awards that we could give to, I mean, most of these, be honest, most of these awards have been given to former councillors. They have historically been a lot of men, so maybe it didn't matter. But there's plenty of women around the table here, and I think it's pretty ridiculous that we're considering naming an award after a man.
Thank you. I'll now put this to the vote. We're putting the amendment to the vote. All those in favour is Councillor Palmer, Councillor Latta and Councillor Johnson. All those against is Councillor Maleka, Councillor Osazowski, Councillor Eason, Councillor Sutherland, Deputy Mayor and myself. So the amendment is lost. We move back to the substantive motion. Would anyone like to speak in favour of the motion? Anyone wish to speak against? Deputy Mayor?
I will move an amendment.
You have an amendment?
Just to have more debate at the last council meeting. Yes, I will propose a different name.
A different name?
Yes, I will propose the first one that the city gave us as an option, the honorary citizen of the city.
Okay. Do I have a second? Oh, sorry. Before I ask for a seconder, I'll go to the mover and seconder. Do you accept the amendment? No. Is there a seconder for the amendment? Councillor Latta, Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, look, I understand all views on this issue, and I don't think it's actually a major one, but I'm happy to support a change in this. And the name that I proposed is being done by the capital city of Western Australia. We're not creating something really new. Tradition is good, and I don't think it takes us so far away from that tradition. Chairman, you know, some people can say no, even females can be called chairman, and they might feel uncomfortable with that. And people can argue, oh, it's about free human beings and all that stuff. But I know that some women feel uncomfortable, and I have not been in this position. And I do know that some women will be happy, as we heard, with being called freemen, but some, as we also heard, would not. And I will decide to support those in our community that might be recognized in the future with a more, this slight change, so they will feel better with that and more inclusive, and I'll do that as a man. I think this is on us men to do that step, even if there are some women that do not want the change, but I do this for those who do want the change. And this is what change is about. You don't do the change for those who do not want to do the change. You do it for those who do want. So for them, I'm happy to move us a bit to that direction.
Thank you, Councillor Latta.
Not sure that it will be particularly moving for this council, but I do think, apart from the gendered aspect, there's also this connection to owning people and people gaining their freedom. And I think that it's time to move on from that. I understand the connection to that tradition, but it's not actually a pleasant one. So I think that we can adopt a contemporary name that still honours people well, whilst separating ourselves from that.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against this amendment? Councillor Sutherland.
Yeah, again, it just does my head in. Freeman is a term that is used for this thing. It is not a gender-based one, so let's get that done. Honorary citizen's very Orwellian, like, citizen was in Robespierre and the French Revolution, so let's put that in perspective if we're going to talk about bad things. That wasn't the best. The other thing is, we've got a mayor. We're going to change the name. Well, I think the mayor should be the board, the chair of the board, and you can be the vice chair. And we'll all be board members and not councillors. It is all coming from a place. It comes from the history. And if you don't know it, you need to read it. It wasn't a bad thing that this came from. It was a good thing. So can we please just move on and leave this? It is not a bad thing. I don't know anyone that can, oh, I don't want to be a Freeman, I want to be a free woman, I want to be a citizen. If you get this, you're really good, you're going to appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak in favour of this amendment? Councillor Palmer.
I'd love to see a gong that says Honorary Citizen of the City Award. So I actually, I just feel that Freeman is very masculine, and the word man comes from actually the Roman word manual. So there's no big deal there in having history books looking at it. So I prefer honorary citizen. I even prefer distinguished service. Either of those two are lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Okay, I'll go to the mover to close. No, I think so. Okay, I'm putting the amendment to the vote. All those in favour? Councillor Palmer, Councillor Latta, Deputy Mayor and Councillor Johnson. All those against? Councillor Maleka, Councillor Ossowski, Councillor Eveson, Councillor Sutherland and myself. The amendment is lost. We are now back to the substantive motion. Would anyone like to speak in favour? Anyone wish to speak against? Councillor Johnson.
Thank you. So we've got a proposal to continue giving out awards to former councillors. Not a fan, and now it's got a gendered name, so I'll be voting against.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak in favour? Councillor Sutherland?
I think this is good. I think all these awards are very good to get or to give to acknowledge people from all walks of life for this in this council. Doesn't have to be councillors. It can be anyone that's been done something really good for the city. So, yep, well done.
Thank you, Councillor Palmer.
Thank you. Look, I'm voting for it because even if it's a Hungry Jack's Award, people welcome awards. It's something that says, we respect you and thank you. So whatever it is, let's get it.
Okay. Anyone wish to speak on this item who hasn't already spoken? I'm happy to support this item. I'm happy with the changes that have been made. As a woman and as the first female mayor of the City of Bayswater, I don't have a problem or see this as a gendered issue, and I'm happy to support it as it is. So I'll go the mover to close.
Nothing further.
All right, I'll put this to the vote. All those in favour? That's Councillor Maleka, Councillor Ossowski, Councillor Eveson, Councillor Palmer, Councillor Sutherland, Deputy Mayor and myself. All those against? Councillor Latta and Councillor Johnson. That is carried. So we'll go to the next one, which is 10.5.2.1, Pathway Prioritisation Program. Councillor Johnson, you've pulled this. Are you moving the officer's recommendation?
Yes, I am.
Do I have a seconder? 10.5.2.1 pathway prioritisation. Seconded by Councillor Maleka. Councillor Johnson.
Thank you. So, yeah, what we have in front of us is something that we talked about as part of the footpath plan, is a pathway prioritisation plan. It's going to be a way that we can help choose out of all the footpaths in the city of Bayswater that might take however many, 58 years or however long to go to footpath, which ones get to the top of the list. So it's good that we've got a plan. It was worked through in a lot of detail, a lot of extensive workshops at the Active Transport Advisory Committee meetings, and it was lots of fun getting the maps out and having a good look, and also, you know, I'd like to acknowledge the work of the city in terms of, you know, when the committee said, what if this, then they came up with a plan and we could see the outcomes of what that decision would about weighting areas, and what it does is weight areas where this, for footpaths where there's high traffic, where there's places people might want to go, like schools, aged care centres, shops, bus stops. So it helps us determine which footpaths get built first. So on that, and as chair of the Active Transport Advisory Committee, I'd also like to just take the opportunity, as that committee comes to an end, to thank our committee members. We had Andy Johnson, Kate Bowker, Dan West, and he's gone, and Georgina Kerr on that committee. And I think, I hope the city found that useful, having the input from the people in that committee, I think was really useful. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Maleka.
Thank you. Likewise, as Councillor Johnson said, yeah, it was really interesting to see how the officers came about the weightings, and that we could provide input, and realise that if we change some of those weightings, it pretty much watered down where the footpaths went, and it meant everywhere ended up having a footpath. So we saw the need of having the weightings as they are. And it's really great to see the plan roll out. So thanks to the officers for all of that work and the wonderful presentations to all of us on council to help us understand. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? Councillor Latta.
Yeah, just to say that I really appreciate everybody's work on this and contributions to it. I know it's a big piece of work. I'm sure there was a lot of discussion in the committee. I don't fully agree with all of the weightings. I'll note that again, and I look forward to it coming to the policy committee, because in particular I think that aged care needs to be prioritised more, because we know that for people, many people in aged care, footpaths are essential for them to navigate their neighbourhoods outdoors. That's the only little thing I have, and I know that I will be able to suggest that later. So I'm happy to support this, and I'm really looking forward to the review of the secondary routes in the long-term cycle network.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? I'm just going to speak that likewise with Councillor Latta, there are some things on here that I don't agree with, and that's why I didn't support the other pathway one. I don't agree that we should be spending money putting pathways on cul-de-sacs. So I don't agree with the prioritisation assessment scoring criteria. I do agree with the LIM 2 about the safe routes to school. And because for consistency, I didn't vote for the other one, so I won't be voting for this one. Anyone else wish to speak on this item? If not, I'll go the move to close. Oh, yep, go ahead.
Just a quick one, just to highlight, Madam Mayor, about 2A, about the safe routes to school. The intention is the city already started some consultation, I think a couple of years ago, and we haven't finished that work. And I think many parents in those schools are waiting for that to be completed. But the importance of that is also for this program, because once we have those streets embedded, that will influence the rating, and we will know exactly where, because there is criteria for safe routes to school in the plan here. So once those routes are identified, those areas will go up in the ranking, and I think there will be stronger justification to prioritize footpaths as a result of those plans.
Thank you. I'll go the mover.
Thank you. Probably also just wanted to thank my fellow councillors and the staff on that committee, particularly Tom, for Fatima, and for Bryce, who did all the work. But just on the public, I'll just comment on the PAWS, public access ways. They're not all created equal. So where there's a cul-de-sac and there's a public access way that might go to a bus stop or aged care centre or school, I think they're the types of things that tip a cul-de-sac into the area of a place where a footpath is really of value. So yes, certainly look forward to seeing if people want to tweak the matrix a little bit to see what sort of outcomes come out of it, but I think it comes from a really solid base.
Thank you. I'll put this to the vote. All those in favour? That is Councillor Maleka, Councillor Sazowski, Councillor Eason, Councillor Palmer, Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Latta, Deputy Mayor, and Councillor Johnson. All those against is myself. That is carried. So we now go to 10.5.3.6, Internal Control Review, Financial Sustainability Review 2020-2022. Councillor Johnson, you've pulled this one. Are you moving the officer's recommendation?
Yes.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Eveson. Councillor Johnson.
Thank you. I just want to note that closing off this item closes a very interesting time in our council's history, but an amount of good work and good intention that went into it. That original report had some unusual recommendations, I think, but the city worked through all of them, and yeah, we're closing it off. So I want to thank the committee and the staff for their work on it.
Thank you, Councillor Eveson.
Oh yeah, great report. I think it just showed a lot of the really big changes that have come in under, with the CEO and executive, and I guess a much more contemporary local government now. So it's definitely a much better process I've found over time, the evolution. So really happy to support this one, and thanks for the city for organising it.
Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? I'll put it straight to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. So now we move on to 10.5.3.7, Quarterly Performance Report Corporate. Councillor Johnson, you pulled this one.
I did. I moved the officer's report, or the committee's report.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Latta, Councillor Johnson.
Thank you. These reports that come through the Audit and Risk Committee give us a great insight into what happens at the city. They're dense reading and a big chunk of tonight's agenda in general. These particular reports, on this one where we report back on the city's activities, I find it really helpful. I know it's a massive amount of work to go through and look at all of our plans and strategies and report against them, but it is terribly helpful, I think, at keeping us on track, because we do adopt plans and strategies thinking that they will provide direction to the city, and our community expects that too. So it's the other flip side of it is to see them reporting back. And just as this is an item from the Audit and Risk Management Committee, as Chair, I want to thank, at the end of this committee's term, I want to thank the councillors that serve alongside me on that committee and our independent members, Shona Julstoff and Andrew Cox, for their contribution.
Thank you, Councillor Latta. Nothing. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? I'll just say, take this opportunity to thank Councillor Johnson as Chair of the Audit Committee and all of the members as well. And I also want to thank Tammy, who's here tonight, who is an officer title.
She's acting manager.
Well, acting manager of governance at the moment, but Tammy's responsible for the wonderful, thorough reports that the Audit Committee receives, and is there to answer all the questions from the committee members with huge knowledge, and we are very, very appreciative of the work and skills that you bring to that committee. So thank you very much for your work. I will now put this to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. So we'll now move to adopt the remaining items in section 10 en bloc. Do I have a mover and seconder? Moved Councillor Palmer, seconded Councillor Maleka. All those in favour? That is unanimous. So we'll now move to notices of motion. And the first one is 11.1, Councillor Eveson, Lincoln Road Improvement.
Thank you.
Okay, and seconded by Councillor Palmer. Councillor Eveson, would you like to read out or not?
Oh, look, I can.
No, it's up to you.
Yeah, look, it was in the minutes.
Okay,
Yeah, it's been out for some time on the agenda, sorry. Look, I'm going to talk about a bit of it anyway, just briefly, because it's getting later already. Look, just the short version of this is that we've got a real opportunity here, one that we can't afford to miss. Main Roads WA is about to start work on the Morley Drive and McGillivray Ave intersection, and that comes with a chance to integrate some improvements for Lincoln Road and the Lincoln Village precinct, which is not far away and probably going to cop the brunt of the traffic as they cut the corner. The motion's pretty simple. We're going to prepare some designs for safer pedestrian crossings, smarter traffic flow, better parking, and we can make sure that they're considered alongside this state-funded project, so doing it in unison. But by acting now, we can prevent some congestion, protect pedestrians, support local business, and make this area a bit easier for everyone to use. And look, it's about being proactive. It's about putting community first. Coordinating the works now means that we can get better bang for buck, I believe, and deliver lasting improvements rather than piecemeal fixes later on. So I urge councillors to support the motion, seize the opportunity and make this precinct safer and more accessible to deliver real benefits for our community.
Thank you. Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We're on live screen, and I do believe that people are listening to this, and this is a whole street of people. And, you know, I'd love to ask Councillor Eveson to read out the points that we're discussing rather than just jumping over them.
Councillor Palmer.
May I read them out then?
You're debating, so you can.
Well, 1, prepare a concept design and cost estimate for traffic flow and safety improvements to the city-owned car park at the Lincoln Village Shopping Centre at 69 Lincoln Road, Morley. 2, prepare a concept design and cost estimate for additional parking and traffic calming measures for the section of Lincoln Road between Beals Reserve and Lincoln Village. 3, refer the designs and cost estimates outlined in limbs 1 and 2 above to the 26-27 annual business planning process for a potential inclusion in the Forward Capital Works programme. 4, request Main Roads WA to incorporate the installation of a pedestrian refuge island on Lincoln Road at the McGillivray Avenue intersection as part of the Morley Drive and McGillivray Avenue intersection project, funded by the $4 million state election commitment. Thank you, Councillor Eveson. This is important because, as you know, I think most of the North Ward councillors here have been involved in producing safety at Lincoln Road Village. I think Councillor Michelle Sutherland did the one-way arrows for the whole intersection that's inside Lincoln Village. I've been promoting the cushion safety across the road and also the 50-mile-per-hour limit on Lincoln Road. So this is an involvement of North Ward councillors, and so I'm pleased to second it. I'm hoping that the funded by $4 million, it doesn't come to that, and I think we need to, there is no costs given at the moment, and this is the map that we have on page 827 of the Morley Road, Morley Drive intersection, which has been about for about a year. Sorry, is everything okay? Okay. So, of course, we're going to be in support of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? Councillor Maleka.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I really like this motion because it's future thinking, as you've all mentioned. And I've witnessed that it's already starting to become a bit of a rat run down Lincoln Road because motorists are seeing the bank up as they're approaching Morley Drive and preempting. So, yeah, I think this is a really good one to get on now before all of the changes happen at Morley Drive.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? Councillor Sutherland?
Yeah, look, I'm happy with this. Obviously, the car park's been a bit of a pain for a long time, and it's quite unusual for a shopping centre to have a public car park because it's usually private. So I'm glad that we were able to get a one-way sign, but that obviously hasn't helped either. So we've got to do something. The only thing I just query is that if you want extra parking on FGJ Beals, just next to the reserve, there's plenty of parking like behind that restaurant and everything there. Like I park there and just walk in, but I suppose people just can't be bothered. No, I don't know. It's just that's the only thing I look at. But other than that, yeah, I think bring it on.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? I'll go to the mover to close.
Probably just two things. So the $4 million, it's quite a large amount of money to do that intersection. So the intent of this motion is really just about, because we haven't seen all the traffic modelling yet, so we don't know what necessarily main roads are looking for, and hopefully consultation will start soon. But what this does is it positions the city so that they can look at some of these options, and hopefully we can integrate and embed it with the main roads project. Hopefully it's not expensive, it's not meant to be. It's really just about trying to make that area safer. And just in regards to the parking, it's actually trying to use parking on that section to try and slow traffic down in addition to the median at the corner of Lincoln and McGilvray. So the idea behind there is on the left-hand side on FJ Beals to actually put cars there, which will automatically start to slow people down. So it's engineering an outcome. That's the intent. So just want to clarify those two bits. Thank you.
Okay, I'll put this to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. We move on to item 11.2, Councillor Johnson, Living Streams.
Thank you. Would you like me to read out the item?
It's up to you.
I'll just talk around it.
Okay, I'll just ask if there's a seconder. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Johnson.
Thank you. Talking about future-proofing and looking after our assets, City of Bayswater does indeed have 50 kilometres of drains. Some of them we own ourselves, and some are managed, or some of them we manage ourselves, and some are managed by Water Corporation. We do have the largest catchment area in the Perth metro area, and they are a great asset. Currently, they are draining water away from the city. They're certainly being put to the test this week, that's for sure. They're draining water away from the city, but we can do so much better than that with all these lovely links that we've got through our suburbs and connecting our parks and river. Our living streams could be all sorts of things, from pathways to public spaces to biodiversity links. I know the city's done a lot of work on that already. I know there's plans around living streams, but I think it's time to sort of really embed that into what we're doing, to really embrace them as such an opportunity. That's why I'm asking for your support for this motion to integrate the Living Streams projects and water-sensitive urban design engineering treatments into the city's budget planning processes and a forward capital works program, and while continuing to advocate to the Water Corp to help out with that, to be a bit innovative and think a bit differently about how they manage their assets instead of just fencing them off and let them grow full of weeds. We can do so much better. Our water is so valuable, with so much more paving and hard surfaces draining the water away. This is a great way that we can keep the benefits and keep the water in Bayswater.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Johnson, for bringing this. In particular, very keen for the issue around living stream projects. This is not just an environmental, program that we have. This is an amenity stuff for our residents. We have underutilized spaces in different corners of the city that can be transformed in some places to public open spaces. We talk about Morley is short of public open spaces. This is a key way to do that. We don't need to purchase land. We just need to get those areas open up, make them safer, make them nicer, remove the weeds, all that stuff. Those are spaces where we can actually use for the tree planting and meet our canopy targets without any issues around private property and verges. It's there. We just need to get Water Corp and the state government to help us do this. It's all money. And they are very slow. This is the truth. They're very slow. This is not their priority. We are ready. We have the plan. We just need the money, and we already have the plan, and we are ready. And residents, I just recently heard from many residents in Bayswater, they want to see something in the Bowden, street reserve. Just been waiting. We already did a consultation. There is already a concept design. There is a place there that is actually open, unlike others, is open, but is overall neglected. It's a water corp land and can be better utilized. People want to enjoy that. There is a park there, but they are not enjoying it at the moment. So I think the potential here is great and can tick lots of boxes for us and for the state government.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? Councillor Latta? Oh, sorry, Councillor Palmer. Sorry.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Even the city has taken on wonderful volunteers at Russell Street and so forth, planting there to make that a living stream and keeping it clean. That hasn't been done for a couple of years, but the city has done wonderful things along the Bayswater Brook, refining the water, and also our primary schools within Morley and so forth. Their streams behind their schools, they've turned them into living streams. And it's been school projects. It's been wonderful. So, I really do support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Latta?
Thank you. Yes, I think it's an excellent idea. I really want to highlight the fact that these are potential public open space assets for our community and great places where we can increase canopy and get public amenity from spaces that are currently not particularly attractive on our streets, whilst delivering environmental benefits. So it's a win-win-win. Many of these, it's possible to get Water Corporation funding for them, but I think it's important that we keep them in the plans so that we can continue to advocate for them and continue to seek those grants, because I think our community really wants these spaces transformed.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? Councillor Sutherland?
Yeah, look, I think this is really good. I've been banging on this for a while, several years, especially in Morley. McGilvray is one. We've got that big sump there. Only in Australia would we put a fence up. Every other country I've been to, that would be a park and people would be enjoying it, but no, not here. We have to put a fence up. Yet down the road there's a lake without a fence, so go figure that one out. So I think this is good, and it will make it nicer. We could have, I know the one in McGilvray, I see it every day. We could have lots of trees in that one, and a variety of them, and be really good. I know I've got a place in Bayswater behind there. It's a big stream. It's fenced off, and I'd love to try and open the fence and have people looking that way, but can't do that because we all might just jump in and I don't know what will happen. So I think this is really good, though. Well done.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? If not, I'll go the mover to close.
Nothing further, thanks.
I'll put this to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. The next one is 11.3, Councillor Johnson, Our Friendly City.
Thank you.
I'll
move
just
what's on the table.
Seconded by Councillor Latta. Councillor Johnson.
Thank you. So this is asking for the City of Bayswater to become an Our Friendly City, which is a label that's used by other local governments use to talk about like their practices about using rat baits and educating the community on safer rat baits to prevent owls being killed. A couple of years back, I found a barn owl rolling around under my car, sort of twitching in a kind of a seizure. It was really awful. That's the first time that I realised that owls in our own neighbourhood were being killed by rat baits that we're using. I mean, no one wants rats, that's for sure. I think we just need a team of little dogs to get rid of them. But the thing about owls being killed by secondary poisonings comes up time and time again, particularly at planting days when I'm talking to people who spend a lot of time in their local park and they see the impacts of owls being killed. Delighted to hear that when the City of Bayswater does hand out free rat baits, it does hand out the safer rat baits. But this is just embedding this into our practices further, and so we can proudly say that we're doing everything we can to protect our wildlife from secondary accidental poisoning.
Thank you, Councillor Latta.
Yeah, I'll just say that I think in spirit the city is already an owl-friendly city, and this really just cements that and represents a commitment to it, including a commitment to continue to educate people about the dangers of secondary poisoning, which I also have seen, deeply unpleasant. And there's a lot of people that don't understand, because we are a local government with 14 kilometres of riverside foreshore. Rats are common, and I think it's important that we help people understand how best to deal with that. And I think if we can help people control their rodent population in a way that doesn't impact on other wildlife, then it is a win-win.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Councillor Sutherland?
Can I just ask a question? This does not stop us using, to the relevant officer, the baits that we've got. Is that right?
I'll go to the director to respond.
Thank you. No, the baits that we provide are first generation.
Okay, great. All right, so I'm happy. Look, I understand the intent of that, and I get that, and I'm happy to support this. But, you know, you've got to realise too, I do understand how to, obviously, not wanting bird life or any wildlife to die from rats, but I have a lot of fruit trees, so I'm doing the right thing, putting trees in my garden. And I do have rats, and I hate them. I hate them. So I'm going to use poison. So I'm putting it out there. It doesn't matter what I do, the community education or whatever, they're still going to be there. But I do put them in a way where I can 99.99% think that they always end up in the pool, so I can dig them out and put them in the thing. So anyway.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak in favour?
Just very briefly, Madam Mayor. I support everything that's been said here, and thank you very much, Councillor Johnson, for bringing this to the table. And I also feel that we should, it's all very well, all of us saying our opinions about keeping it safe, but we have a magazine, Bayswater Beat, and so forth, and we can put little advice in there for people to register it in their heads to use safer rat baits and so forth. And so we've got these tools, we should use these. It's our responsibility to use that and, you know, bring that advice to the fore in ways that we can. And I think, apart from Facebook, the Bayswater Beat, whatever, should also be implying advice like this. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this item? If not, I'll go the mover to close.
Nothing further, thank you.
I'll put this to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. Item 11.4, Councillor Johnson Revolving Energy Fund.
Thank you. I'd like to move what's on the table.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Latta, Councillor Johnson.
Okay, thank you. So this motion is asking for us to establish a revolving energy fund to finance capital projects that are going to save energy using the money that we save by saving energy. It's a revolving energy fund. It's kind of circular. We already have a climate action reserve in our reserves. So I think the report says $3 million in it. It's not really clear how that's being used. Our emissions reduction renewable energy plan talks about it talks in a lot of detail actually about how a revolving energy fund could and should work. By calculating our savings, we have that data already. Putting that money aside, reinvesting it into new capital projects, for example, new solar panels or energy, reducing light bulbs or whatever, and then using those savings again to invest in those things. A lot of the capital projects that the emissions reduction renewable energy plan talk about have a payback of 3 to 8 years, depending on the project. So you can see how that fund could just work continuously in a relatively short term to help us fund the things that are going to save us money in the future.
Thank you, Councillor Latta.
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting and innovative approach, and thank you for bringing the motion, Councillor Johnson. I too wasn't clear in the previous business planning process whether that climate reserve was being used. I think that there were probably opportunities for things to be funded from that reserve, and it wasn't. And so I think this represents a clearer opportunity for the city, because the city will have to spend these funds. It's not to go into a reserve, it's to continue to put back into continuing to achieve these goals under the ERRE. I think that we can achieve really exciting things. We've already done a lot, but there are more things to fund, and why not fund them with the success of previous projects and the savings that we have made through them. Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? Councillor Palmer?
Just very quickly, that within the ERRE, something that we should consider that we will be doing in the future, and that's putting in the electricity for the EVs. And we need a lot of them, because when you put your car there, it takes more than a few minutes. So I think that's something that should be part of this as well.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? I'll go the mover to close.
Nothing further, thank you.
I'll put this to the vote. All those in favour? That is Councillor Maleka, Councillor Osazowski, Councillor Eason, Councillor Palmer, Councillor Latta, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Johnson and myself. All those against? Councillor Sutherland. That is carried. Now go to 11.5. Councillor Johnson, remove 143 and 145 Watley Crescent Bayswater from the city's land acquisition and disposal strategy. Just a reminder that there is a confidential attachment, so if you're going to refer to that, we're going to have to go behind closed doors.
I won't.
Okay, so you're moving what's on the table.
Thank you.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Latta, Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, and you'll be pleased this is my last motion that I've got on the table at this meeting. So this one looks at some blocks of land that the city owns that's right adjacent to Frank Drago Reserve, where there is a future development planned, potentially. This area is an area where there's not a lot of canopy. When we did the Meltham consultation, we heard that there was a lack of public open space in the area, and one of the major contributors for that open space was Frank Drago Reserve. It's an area that's used as a soccer pitch, not so much for sort of passive recreation. Right next to it, we've got 2 blocks the city owns that are covered in trees. They are really valuable canopy. As you can see from the report, in the it's now 10 years since we kicked off the urban forest strategy. In the 2 years from 2023 to 2025, our tree canopy reduced. We've got a bunch of trees here. This literally, by doing nothing, we can stop the loss of tree canopy. If these blocks to be sold, you can see one of them would hold 7 houses, one of them 8 potentially. You can see on the pictures that are enclosed in the report what that would look like. It would be a sea of roofs with no trees. So literally by doing nothing, we can prevent that and prevent prevent that urban heat effect, save some canopy in the area which is being cleared and cleared a lot. I just ask that we just hang on to these blocks of land. We don't have to do anything to them, just not sell them right now, and let them continue to provide some benefit.
Thank you, Councillor Latta.
Yeah, I previously supported an attempt to remove these from the LADS, the Land Acquisition and Disposal Strategy, because we know that if we sell this block, it will be cleared. And it is thick with trees, right next to public open space, remnant bushland, I believe. Extremely valuable as a connection point between other large trees in the area. And I think at a point in time where the community in that area is feeling squeezed by the potential Frank Drago Reserve redevelopment, what a wonderful thing to maintain this property, even connect it in and provide the potential for expanded open space there, where actually the people in this area do not have enough public open space, and what incredible tree-filled land to add to that and preserve them for the future.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? Councillor Palmer?
Just very briefly, that's on an incline where that part of Watley Crescent and the trees are. And just knowing that it's very, very swampy and deep, that is not going to be a pleasure for builders at all. The advantage of having the trees there is a great buffer for Frank Drago Reserve, and also, as you say, for the people in that area. And when we look at our tree canopy and what we consider there, this would be a huge loss. 122 trees there. Some of them are quite large, and there's bird life and everything, which recompenses these people along the local streets there for having trees, which their blocks and streets in Roberts are completely treeless. So I think it should stay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak? Councillor Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, look, I'm not comfortable supporting this, and everyone knows my stance of trees. I feel very comfortable saying those things. I don't think there is a proposal to sell it, but I'm also not in a position at this stage, like that ad hoc, to decide we're not doing anything at this stage, we're just leaving it as is. I would prefer to understand what is the future purpose of this lot and all the other lots that are on the plan. Is it going to be used as public open space? What kind of public open space? Is it supposed to be there? Is it supposed to be somewhere else? I'm looking at the report. The officers are telling us that there is greater shortage of public open space in Morley, not in that location in Bayswater. I also represent the residents of Morley, and I would like to understand what that means if we are keeping that as is. Are we having funds to do everything that we need for other parts of the city? Housing is also target, also financial sustainability. By avoiding this, and I'm not saying I have any position on this, and I wouldn't want to see it lost, but I also do not want to commit myself without actually having a full implication report. I think it will be very unprofessional of me of locking us to this, when I also know that most of the lots that the city has that we looked at that can be disposed to give us the income that we need to all the other stuff that I just saw in this agenda, including the living streams, all those priorities, all those lots are very problematic to be used. You know, they all have drain, drains in the middle of them. We saw all the stuff. They are not easy on contaminated land. So this is actually next to a public open space. So I'm not sure my position on this. I prefer to keep it as is and to explore it as part of our investigation of the whole plan, and we are doing that. So I feel more comfortable not make a decision ad hoc. I don't do those decisions. I wait, have the full report, see what our vision for that specific area, for the city, and what is the best decision for this. So it's a no from me at this stage.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak for? Anyone wish to speak against? I have a question to the relevant director. Can I please just be reminded what the zoning is for these two lots?
Thank you. R40. R30.
So residential?
Correct. Residential R30.
And so, follow-on question, how many properties, homes could that cater for? Do we know?
It's 15 in total.
15.
15 on total, thank you. Would anyone else like to speak on this? I'll go the mover to close.
Thank you. Councillor Palmer is right. It is a swamp. It was a swamp. It's got flooded gums on it. It's rather magical, and lots of local kids sort of get kind of wander in there and have adventures. It is this whole area has been upzoned and will be around the train station. There's plenty of places to build houses. We've approved lots of them. They haven't been built yet. This is not asking the city to do anything. It's just to remove it from property for investigation in our land and acquisition disposal strategy. There's hundreds of others on there. I think the value in these is in keeping the canopy and doing absolutely nothing, which just continues to add some value and potential for our public open spaces.
I'll now put this to the vote. All those in favour? Councillor Palmer, Councillor Latter and Councillor Johnson. All those against? Councillor Maleka, Councillor Sazowski, Councillor Easton, Councillor Sutherland, Deputy Mayor and myself. That is lost. So we now move to item 12, which is questions from members without notice. Are there any questions? Councillor Palmer.
Just a very quick one. I'm pleased to say that there will be the Perth Festival starting.
North of Perth Festival.
Yes. And I wondered if any invitations had been received from them yet for the council.
Thank you for your question. I'll go to the CEO.
Through you, Madam Mayor, not as yet. Nothing's hit my inbox, and looking at the directors of community, no, nothing's come in as yet.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Easton.
Just two, yeah. First one, the recent announcement about the Galleria. I just wanted to find out, does the city have any further details regarding scope of work?
I'll go to the director.
Thank you. The city approved a building permit earlier this year for preliminary demolition works. However, we have not received a building permit yet for the proposed works that were announced under the $240 million redevelopment. However, we anticipate to receive that shortly. What is publicly available on their website, they have an FAQ which the community can go and visit. And they've advised that it's a full revitalisation of the fashion and lifestyle malls, the future home to nearly 100 of Australia's brands, introduction of the terrace and a new alfresco dining, entertainment and lifestyle precinct, and upgrades to the centre court and casual dining options. And they've also mentioned that construction will hopefully commence at the end of this year and likely to be completed at the end of 2026.
Thank you. The other one's just around the Naranda nursery site. It's still empty. I know there was an approval on the lower section, but just interested if there's been any news on the upper section or anything at all.
I'll go to the acting director.
Through you, Madam Mayor, the City has received a subdivision referral from the Department of Planning for that lot. So the proposed subdivision is to create 2 lots. It appears that one of those lots is consistent with the size for a childcare centre that had already been approved, and the second part of that subdivision is for the remainder of that lot.
Deputy Mayor.
Yes, thank you. There are around 16 dead trees in the medians along Peninsula Road that have been flagged with the city. I want to find out whether the city can remove them and replace them this planting season. They're very visible to residents. I'm getting a lot of inquiries.
I'll go to the Director.
Thank you.
Yeah, through the chair, the city will remove them. I'll need to take it on notice in regards to whether they will be replaced this planting season or whether that will be the next planting season.
Thank you.
Councillor Latta.
Thank you. I'm wondering if I can get an update about out-of-school care at Maylands Peninsula Primary School, whether we have heard back about what's progressing.
I'll go to the CEO.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, through the state, my understanding is that they're in discussions with the school and that is planned to occur in first term for next year. But I'll take that on notice and get some further information to clarify that as well.
Thank you. I have another question for the city about whether Walga Zone delegates, when they're providing motions to their Walga Zone, whether they need to reflect council positions or not.
I'll go to the CEO.
Through you, Madam Mayor, delegates on the Walga Zone and EMRC and other committees are delegates within their own rights, so they are able to raise motions and items, but notwithstanding that, sometimes the items and issues that they raise would be items that have been considered by council, so it would be a combination of both.
If it is not a council position, is it appropriate for them to present it as a City of Bayswater motion?
Sorry, can you clarify?
If it is not reflective of a council position, is it appropriate for it to be presented as a City of Bayswater motion?
Well, I think I'd go back to my further response that they are able to raise motions within their own right. If it's the item that I'm thinking of which was raised at the last zone meeting, that item was considered by the council back in 2019 as part of the reform, and council didn't have a position on that. They were divided on it.
Any other questions? If not, we move on to item 13, which is new business of an urgent nature, and there is none this evening. Item 14 is meeting closed to the public. So we have one confidential item this evening. Can I please have a mover and seconder to go behind closed doors? Move Councillor Palmer, seconded Councillor Mleka. All those in favour? That's unanimous.
And I will close this evening's meeting at 10:42 p.m. Thank you, councillors.